even guys who are transferring from other teams and want a chance at that title. So in terms of how this compares, whilst each season does have its own challenges, I don't see it as too dissimilar to last year's opportunity. You have Josh Mills is under centre this year as opposed to Charlie Martin, but they've not really missed too much of their usual form. I think early on in games we've seen the offense sputter a little bit. Defense has been its classic self. They haven't, I think, given up more than 16 points this year, and some of those have come late on in games. But I would expect the Titans to do what they do defensively, regardless of who they're playing. Offense, can they get it going early? Is it going to take a little while? Can Merseyside cause some problems? It's kind of business as usual for the Titans until you get to the postseason, where you take on the southern teams and then you really see who you are.
Exactly, and maybe it's not until the first quarter of a playoff game that you really know how you stack up and how you're going to be going. On the other side of it, with Merseyside today, a chance to, as you say, try to put a little bit of something on this season to look forward to next season. They got promoted last year in a playoff game against the Yorkshire Rams, where the Rams had beaten them twice and then came back and then beat them in the playoffs. So they showed resilience at the end of the season, sort of a different team completely when they wanted to be, when they had to be. Have you ever been in that position before, where you're playing from the bottom rather than the top?
It's not something that I've experienced in my career.
Lucky man.
I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by, wherever I've gone, whether it's the Lancashire Wolverines in their Premiership days or the UClan Rams, there's always been a real supporting cast of high talented players or really good coaching, and so to be at the bottom is something that mentality wise the teams that I've been part of we've always had. But in terms of our actual placement and positioning, it's not something I've experienced. I think the closest I can come is the Lancashire Wolverines in 2016, where we were battling to stay on top of that Premiership division. The previous year, we'd gone and played London Blitz in the playoffs, and we just kind of collapsed. And it's that constant turnover of talent, and does your culture hold up? And I've been really fortunate to be part of a lot of teams where the culture has held up and you get the constant refresh of talented and motivated players. I think that 2016 season I did experience for the first time the culture shift, and it was tough. It was really tough, and so I do have respect for teams who turn up every week
just keep going,
and keep battling.
It's the players that are here.
Absolutely. And teams like Merseyside, who last year, as you said, they battled through, and you speak to some of those Merseyside guys themselves and they'll say, we didn't expect to get promoted. It wasn't part of the plan. It just happened, and unfortunately for Merseyside, a lot of those guys, it was their last ride, and they knew going into the season it was going to be their last time. So you have the team this year that's perhaps a little bit
maybe not ready. Maybe it's very simply could be maybe this turns out to be a good thing in the long run, because you get a bunch of younger players who got reps at the Prem level, know what that feels like, knows what it takes to play at that level, and maybe bring that in their course through D1 next year.
Absolutely, yeah. Assuming that results go as they currently have been for Merseyside, and they do drop down to Division 1, that refresh can be really useful.
Yeah, especially with this kind of rep. I'm going to ask you to vamp just for a minute about some of your favorite Titans players this season while I check our schedule, because I'm not exactly sure what our next thing is coming up. So go ahead. Who have you liked this season?
Well, I think you have some of the mainstay guys like Cade Makin, who've been a Titan for a long time, been part of that GB squad for a long time as well. But you also have these new faces who've come from different teams, or who have slowly developed. So let's take Sam Wilson, the receiver, number 88, who I would expect to be calling his number a good few times today. He transferred over this year from the Lancashire Buccaneers. I think he was looking to elevate his game and play at the top level, and he has really shone. I have had conversations with members of the GB adults coaching staff They know who he is. And so I would be expecting if he decides...
That is a nice feeling.
That is a very nice feeling. I would expect if he decides to go along to the trials on the next cycle, as long as he puts in a good performance, I would expect to see him as part of that program. Someone else I'd like to mention who is actually the sword bearer for the Titans today is Josh Belle, who he joined the Titans, I think, back in maybe 2022 or maybe it was 2023. My memory fails me on that one, but he has gone from being a player who I would essentially, as a quarterback, as a defensive back, as a cornerback, I identified I can get this guy in practice, and I would pick on him. But he was humble. You'll hear him, right? You'll hear him. He's got plenty of noise and energy. That's part of the culture here. But he has been humble. He has worked incredibly hard, and everything that is in the future for Josh Belle, whether that be Great Britain caps, whether that be European contracts, whether that be just being recognised by his peers as a quality player in the British game, he's earned every single bit of that.
I love that. Especially, for a D-back who, when you see, you as a quarterback can see them progress year on year, practice on practice, because you do pick on them. You know where you can go good in practice every now and then.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it does make people better, specifically when they stick at it, and that's a great story.
Yeah, for sure. I think when you are being coached by very good coaches, and you're being coached, and you're playing with, alongside, and against some of the best in the country, you are going to fight or you're going to fly. And Josh Belle has taken some time, as everybody should when they're in development. And now we see this, maybe not fully developed player, because I still think he has room to grow. But if he has room to grow on top of where he is already, the sky's the limit.
Absolutely. Well, as you say, this is a matchup between Manchester and Merseyside that we have done a few times. It goes back a long way. You have been the quarterback here for, what did we say? It was 8 years, 9 years?
Yeah.
Played in some of those games. Can you talk to me a little bit about what this matchup has meant over the years?
Yeah, so when we arrived, I say we, I suppose I would call it the Lancashire Wolverines / the UClan Rams contingent that arrived here. We were in Division 1. We dropped down from the Premiership to come and be part of this team, earn our way into the Premiership that same year. 2018, Merseyside Nighthawks for a couple of years had been the second best team in the Premiership North, behind the then Tamworth, now Coventry Phoenix. So, a lot of talent there. Harry Routledge, Alex Eager, Paul Cowan, loads of Rio Horton, Mark Horton. A lot of talent there, and those battles in 2018, 2019 were massive. There was no love lost. And
intense.
So you will see elements of that today. But I think when you have two teams who genuinely believe they have a stake at the throne, that fire and that intensity shines through. Yeah. So this matchup between these two teams, I would expect to, regardless of what you see, results-wise from the Merseyside Nighthawks, is going to be a massive battle. And if we just kind of take a look at some of the results that the Titans have had this season, you can see they're pretty consistently scoring high. Now, I did mention before, some of those score lines have come, I suppose those higher score lines have come from the second half. That Titans offense has sometimes, not been consistent in the first half, taking a little bit of time to find their groove. And defensively, the Titans pretty consistent. 16 points is the maximum they've conceded.
40 points a game, giving up about 8. I mean, that's a recipe for a lot of success, really.
Yeah, and it's credit to head coach George Foster, who's a defensive-minded coach, and defensive coordinator James Dean. You see those guys' work ethic over the years. When you're inside the room and you've got a seat at the table, you see it, and you're not surprised. You're not surprised by the outcomes, because the work ethic is there and the buy-in from players is there. So my expectation would be, the Titans' offense should be looking to gain some consistency early on, and the Titans' defense, it is business as usual.
Yep, that defense, doesn't it? Do we have a graphic for the Nighthawks season? I think we do, because we can talk through their season as well. It's been different. 1-7. They did pick up a win in their, not the last game, but the one before against the Nottingham Caesars. We'll get that up in a second. I think it's coming. There it is. So just the one win on the season, but it is relatively recent, and it was against a team that came up with them in promotion in Nottingham, but Nottingham had beat them earlier in the season. They found a way to get a win at home, which has probably done a lot for their confidence as a team. But as we were talking so much about the lovely points per game that the Titans have, it is a different story. And really what I think it comes down to is, can Merseyside make a couple of stops, because they're giving up about 32 points a game, and Manchester scores a lot as well.
Yeah, and I think offensively for Merseyside, you have that kind of inconsistency in quarterback play. You know, we've seen at least 3 different quarterbacks taking snaps for Merseyside this year, meaningful snaps as well. We're not talking about when they're, you know, up late in games or down late in games. So in the Premiership, that's really hard to come by, because if you look at the rest of the teams in the Premiership, they all have consistent quarterback play.
And as we were talking about this matchup over the years, it's been Titans heavy, right? It has been a Titans heavy sort of in the last couple of years. We were talking, it was more competitive maybe in the 17, 18, 19 range, but in this recent run, well, the Titans have been beating everybody, haven't they? So, I mean, some of these score lines against most teams won't look very different.
Yeah, I think we're about to get the run out from the teams, but you're absolutely right. We have had that kind of, it's, you know, the recency bias. Football is a what have you done for me lately kind of sport, and it's unfair to look at the Merseyside Nighthawks and judge them exclusively on their recent form, because this is an established and you know, this is a Premiership team, and the products that you're going to see today from the Merseyside Nighthawks, I don't think is representative of the overall picture historically of the Merseyside Nighthawks.
Would agree. Now, we're waiting for the teams to come out. We may get interrupted here, but we talked a little bit about what are the keys to the game. We've been going through them a little bit, but I want to talk specifically about the Titans, and your first key there is don't fall for the trap. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so as I kind of alluded to earlier, this is a bit of a trap game for the Titans, because everybody, you know, expects the Titans to come out and put 50 points plus on Merseyside and concede nothing. So the Titans' choice, or the situation before the Titans, is you either perform to that standard and nobody bats an eyelid, or you don't perform to that standard and people will question you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then, you know, suffocate them at the line of scrimmage, keep it simple. You know, at some points you just have to play your game rather than playing to the level of your opponent, which I think is what you were trying to say there.
Absolutely. You know, I think that a lot of teams play down or up to their opponents. So offensively especially, keep it simple, stupid. Whatever the Merseyside Nighthawks are giving you, take it, because if they adjust to it, you can then make your adjustments. Something else is going to open up. And defensively, if you can suffocate that line of scrimmage, the inexperienced quarterback of Tom Hine for Merseyside, I think we're going to see a tough day for Tom, and all credit to him for stepping in a tough situation.
A lot of that comes down to, can the offensive line keep him safe? And that's one of the things you were talking about with Merseyside, is they need to try to find a way to get to Mills and pressure him, particularly early in the game.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, Josh Mills is a fantastic quarterback, and I would expect if he commits himself to to Great Britain, I would anticipate that he will see some Great Britain representation in his future career. But Josh has been susceptible on occasion to, you know, maybe disguised coverages, throwing a few just, you know, tough interceptions or silly interceptions late on in the games. You know, you're trying to force the ball to guys to make sure your development and your depth guys are getting some time. And I think that if Merseyside can get some pressure on Josh, whether that's through blitz packages, you know, sim packages, whether that's through just defensive line pressure, that's what they're going to try and have to try and do to have some success.
Pressure can sort of be that great equalizer if you can get there in time, but the Titans' offensive line has been awful good this season. And the people that will be making sure they're following the rules today, your referees, Peter Parsons, Darren Urban, Ben Gadsby, Kenny Glover, Kieran Smith, Henry Richardson, Frank Issa Barroso, and Stuart Young. 8 referees, is that right?
That's a good
There
lineup.
has to be some alternates or something. I don't know if I've ever seen an 8-person crew for a league game.
Yeah, there's a Division 2 game somewhere suffering deeply.
Oh, goodness. Well, we are about 10 minutes to kick off. Referees are making themselves onto the field now. And I have to say, being up in this box is lovely because you can just see how nice this pitch must be to play on. You know, year in, year out, it seems you've played on it. Is it a pretty good pitch to play on? Does it have some... It always felt like it had a little spring in it.
Yeah, really bouncy pitch, lovely, stadium, good facilities. It's a real nice place to play, as we can see the Titans and sword bearer Josh Belle getting ready to come out onto the pitch.
Look at that sword. I love that. And what is the significance? Who gets that sword?
So the Titans players are asked before each game to elect somebody who they feel has embodied, the spirit and the nature of what it means to be a good teammate, a good leader, whatever it might be. It might be that the player has done something under the radar. It might be that they are shining star, whatever it is. And this week, Josh Belle was elected by his teammates to lead the Titans out.
That's really cool. How long has that tradition been around?
The Titans started this last year.
Yeah.
And I think, as far as I recall, it's been a new person every time.
That's
so,
cool.
Pretty cool. I would have loved something like that when we first started, as the teams come out.
I love when they're lighting off these blue smokes. It does look really quite picturesque when the players are actually running through it.
Yeah, as your view on screen.
Here we go.
It's a better image in person, isn't it?
Yeah.
It might look great on camera, but when you're actually here and you've got the atmosphere and the fans cheering, it's a great place to be.
And it really smells, I have to tell you. It's a strong odor.
Yeah, it's come up all the way up into the booth here, as I think we're about to welcome the starting offense. That's Sam Wilson, number 88. We've got Toby Squire coming out. We've got Connor Greenhalgh, Matteo Diaz Narci. We welcome Brad Temple out onto the field. Scott Tomlinson. Nathan Dukes running back. Josh Wallace coming back from an injury. We've got Charlie Escott. Welcoming back Owen Smith after a stint out in Germany.
That guy's
and
massive.
Quarterback Josh Mills.
Germany, really?
Yeah. Owen is an impressive talent, really is. Present through all the championship games, right tackle for the Titans. Just a real stalwart of the Titans.
Got the starters up on screen for you. Just to go review those one more time. Mills at quarterback. Jukes gets the start today at running back. But he won't be the only one we'll see at running back. They do rotate through with some really talented people. Sam Wilson, Brad Temple, Connor Greenhalgh, and Charlie Escott, your wide receivers. And you heard the rest. Then we have the offensive line. We have Josh Wallace, Scott Tomlinson, Matteo Narci, Toby Squire, and Owen Smith on the offensive line.
Yeah, and I think the Titans and Merseyside captains are lining up. So for Merseyside, we've got Ikechi Apakma in number 22. We've got Nick Mitchelson in number 72. Isaac Ponsford, who I believe is playing his last game for the Merseyside Nighthawks today. And we've got stand-in quarterback, usually defensive player, linebacker or D-line, Tom Hine, who are the captains for the Merseyside Nighthawks.
He's doing it.
He is.
Oh, wow.
He is. Yes.
I didn't realize that was the Tom you were talking about.
Yeah. So respect for Tom for stepping up in a tough situation. Maybe we'll see some fireworks from Tom.
I'd love to see it.
That would be impressive, wouldn't it?
Make the game fun. Waiting for the captains to come out for the coin toss. You've been in a few of these. What would you call if it was your choice?
Tails never fails. It occasionally does, but
so rarely.
the narrative is really important.
It is. It really is. Do they do different captains every week? Or are they season-long captains?
So the Titans have positional captains. This week it's number 17, Alex Lenkowski, number 3, Josh Mills, number 94, Cade Makin, and number 56, Scott Tomlinson. But they rotate the captains each week through positions. So the belief is that if each position has a captain, that group knows, and they vote, they elect that captain in each position group. They know that they can go to that captain with issues or concerns. They can, have someone they can rely on in that group who then can represent their group. So it's something that that was brought in, I think, by Jonathan Homer, and it's lasted the test of time, and I think it's been a really good thing for the Titans leadership group.
Absolutely. And it sounds a very democratic system. It keeps people invested in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if you can vote for your captain, then you're going to have that belief. You're going to have that buy-in from the players, because this is the person who you look to, when times are tough, or when you need a conversation, or when there's something that you want to put across to the team. Not everybody has that kind of desire or confidence to, go and approach the head brass. So you can approach your captain and believe that they're going to go and represent you. So,
well, looks like the coin toss they're about to do it now, kind of deciding what we're going to do as we get this game going. But a good time to talk to you about a sponsor. We'd like to thank our sponsor, the Brotherhood Pursuit and Pastimes, our favorite sports bar in town. Thank you to the Brotherhood for supporting the Manchester Titans. And also, we'd like to give thanks to Creating Food Media Rights. Thank you for your support. And I'm ready. I'm ready for football now. You got me talking about it for a half hour. I'm ready now.
Yeah, so it looks as though the Merseyside Nighthawks are going to receive the opening kickoff, which means that to begin the second half, the Manchester Titans will then receive that kickoff. As we see the return team come out for Merseyside and the kickoff team come out for Manchester. Now, with Manchester, they're a very aggressive team. They're the kind of team who's going to go for it on fourth down as long as they are, well, you would typically say in the other opponent's half, but it's entirely possible that with the aggression of George Foster, the head coach, that they would potentially go for it even in their own half. So I would expect at some point today to see Alex Lenkowski, the kicker and long-time GB kicker as well, to essentially try some tricky onside kicks, things like that, and ultimately, it's a really good way of getting live reps in games without, when you do it in practice, the opposing team is expecting, because you run maybe 10, 15, 20 kickoffs, and at some point they're going to practice an onside or something of that nature.
Absolutely.
So I would expect at some point today, regardless of the scoreline, the Titans will try something tricky on special teams, because ultimately, Titans' view is we're not just trying to win this game today, we are preparing ourselves mentally for when they host what looks to be the London Blitz, or if they were successful at beating the London Blitz in the playoffs, then moving on to whoever the finals team would be, which a betting man might say would be the Bristol Aztecs.
You would think. And it would be one of those wonderful statistical games, because neither team gives up many points and both teams score a ton.
Oh, it will be. If that is the Brit Ball final, that's an exciting final to watch.
That is a good one. All right. Well, we're just getting ready for kickoff, and in case anybody was wondering, I do only see 6 officials on the field. I don't see 8, so I think we have 2 extras, maybe as alternates.
I see. Yeah.
I just don't know what they would do with 8 people. I think that was. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We only see 5.
6, 7. Oh, there's 2 over there.
There's 2 over
actually
on the sideline.
Maybe there are. Maybe there are 7 or 8. But
wow.
Yeah, we'll try and find out what the delay in kickoff is.
Not sure. What?
Yes.
When you were a quarterback, Sam,
Yes.
what was kind of your? So let's say the Titans were getting the ball first. Were you trying to get your arm going? Were you trying to get the legs fresh? What was kind of your sideline routine before you went out onto the field?
Well, you do your pre-game warm-up, and I think that there is an element of once you're ready and the hay is in the barn, you're good to go. Mm-hmm. I think that I play very loose, and I think early on in my career as a linebacker and a safety and even a more aggressive wide receiver, the tight end, let's say, I was a bit more rah-rah, I was a bit more shouty and yelly and getting myself amped up. And when I made the transition to quarterback in 2017, there was still elements of me that wanted to continue that because that's who I had always been. However, I pretty quickly learned that you needed to be cerebral. And so I was a bit more calm and balanced.
That's a good place to be as a quarterback, I think. Not too up, not too down. But forget all that. It's time for kickoff. It's time to go. Titans line up with even sides. We got 2 back to receive for the Nighthawks. And here we go. It looks like it's going to be collected by Apakma. He's up the right side, looking for room. That's going to be converged by the Titans quickly and put down. And that's where Merseyside will take over 1st and 10 at about the 30-yard line. Sorry, we had a monitor right in our way, and it just didn't need to be there. So we are quickly taking it down so we can actually see what's going on. So let's see what Merseyside decides to come out with here. I will say Merseyside does have a thin sideline today. It looks like with the 11 out on the field, there's maybe 11 or 12 more there. So thin sideline. Let's see what they want to do. Shotgun with a single tight end. They try to go inside, and that's going to be eaten up real quick. Seeing a couple different ones in there, but I'm going to say Jawa. Let's see, who was in there? Espina? A couple of them.
Yeah, Don Espina and Cade making on the tackle. Cade shot straight through on the defensive line. I would expect to see something similar here. And just giving some context, why are the Titans wearing black underneath their jerseys? Well, the Titans are, they're a serious team. They're here to take things seriously, and I would assume that this is their way of saying this is a funeral game.
Yeah, very. And there's another tackle for a loss. Not much going there. And I'm seeing the quarterback for Merseyside today, Tom Hine, not changing jerseys, wearing 95 back there at quarterback.
As a man who didn't wear a traditional quarterback number, I can almost fully respect it. 95 is a little tough to see, but
strong.
Merseyside have had another quarterback, Ben Robinson, this year wearing 99. But I think he knew what he was. Doing there.
Hine gives middle again, and the Titans just eat it up. That one does get back to the line of scrimmage, but it was 3rd and about 17, and that'll bring out the punt team for Merseyside. 4th down.
I think that could be 2 or 3 tackles for Juwan Anakin on that drive.
I didn't have him down as a starter, so I thought maybe my eyes were wrong, but that's who it was, right?
I believe so. Yeah, so that's either 2 or 3 tackles there on that drive from the same player, so pretty good going.
He was very aggressive through the hole. Merseyside set up to punt, 2 back to receive for the Titans. Quite a ways back. Maybe expecting quite a leg out of this Merseyside punter. It's away. That is a good punt. Takes a drop at about the 30, takes a friendly Merseyside hop, pops out at about the 25, and that's where the Titans will take over on offense. What are you expecting to see here on 1st down?
I expect the Titans to be aggressive. With offensive coordinator Alex Challens, it's entirely possible that he comes out and says, you know what, let's see if they come out in exactly what we've prepared for, which, knowing Merseyside, is typically either cover 3 with a single high safety, or you could see 2 high safeties, but they'll roll into a cover 3. So they'll move 1 safety down late. We are looking like it's going to be that single high. It's that classic Merseyside cover 3 that you're looking at there.
Is that Hine playing safety as well? They come back with the swing pass. Get to the outside. Can he get the corner? Not quite, but quite a few yards gained there for Brad Temple.
Yeah, we've talked about this on the live stream a couple of times before. The mentality of the offensive coordinator and I suppose the whole culture of the Titans is gain 4 yards of play, because within 3 plays, if you do that, you've got a first down every time.
Yep, and that one went for right about 5. Mills sets him up on 2nd down. 3 receivers to the far side. They go back to Jukes. Middle follows his pulling guard, breaks a tackle, and that's a first down for the running back.
Yeah, good.
Strong run.
Good pull from Josh Wallace there. Needs to find somebody. Admittedly, I'm not sure where they were, but if he can get around and get that single block, Jukes maybe takes that on the counter for a bit more.
4 down for the Nighthawks. Apakama tries to come back across, but that's going to be over the middle post, and it's going to go for the touchdown. Temple from 60 yards out. Titans 6-0.
Textbook offensive call by Alex Challens, seeing a single high safety. He's going to make the safety choose. Are you going to take the left-hand side seam from the slot receiver? Are you going to take the right-hand side? And whichever one he takes, or if the safety stays stationary, Mills is going to have all day there. And the slot receivers for the Manchester Titans are all about speed.
That was quick. I saw when I was looking up the stats that Temple's got the most yards per reception this year, and you just saw why, because after he catches the ball, he is lightning fast.
Oh yeah, not surprising at all. They'll want to get the ball into Temple's and Greenhalgh's hands early, because they're guys who can make tacklers miss, and they're guys who can take the ball the distance within seconds.
Lenkowski adds the extras, and that puts the Titans up 7-0. Quick. 3 plays? And score. And you've seen that Temple to Mills connection quite a few times this season. He's quick, he's fast, and Mills put it right on him. Yeah,
I think BAFA put out a post recently about the leading receiving touchdown scorers. Temple was towards the bottom of that top tier list with, I think, 4 touchdowns, and has just increased his tally to 5 there. So whether Titans are aware of that or not, I don't know, but I'm sure Temple certainly is.
It's always good to score touchdowns. I thought the offensive line gave him a lot of time as well. And there was just nobody around him. Good clean pocket for Mills. And just a clean strike.
Yeah, and after just 2 drives for Merseyside, you would expect that the linemen, who are tough to come by, are potentially playing both ways, and maybe that fatigue setting in quite early with a hot day.
It is warm down there. Lenkowski goes for the onside you were talking about. Is it going to go 10? I don't think it did. It is recovered, but I don't think that went 10 yards.
Somebody needs to teach the Manchester Titans players that you cannot advance an onside kick. However,
Did that go 10?
Joe Adooley, I believe, recovered that. So good play if it did go 10.
I think they're saying it did.
Let's have a look on our
was,
in-booth instant
it was
replay.
Really close, but a wonderful heads-up play there from the Titans. You talked about it just before the game started, that maybe something special teams like would happen. Wow, clean. On the replay that we just saw, that was beautiful. Wow, Lenkowski put it in the perfect spot.
Yeah, he's a specialist by every definition of the word.
Titans go 5 wide. Mills, he wants to go left, he wants to go sideline, and that's going to be caught. Goes up and gets it, and goes for the touchdown. Oh, no, he's out. Oh, he just made it look really, really good.
Real close.
That was a beautiful catch from Sam Wilson down the left side. High points it. Love to see that from a receiver.
And, this is Sam Wilson, who I talked about pre-game, transferred over to the Titans this year. His ability to track and bring in that ball, especially some of these back shoulder balls that Mills is putting in, is genuinely impressive, and I think GB are going to be watching this guy.
Gain of about 40 gets them to the 13-yard line. Put a couple in motion to make it a tight bunch to the right. Mills goes middle, gives it to Jukes. He gets inside, pushes and shoves, and I think they're going to stop his progress after about 6. Nice run there from Jukes. Physical. He's a good back to kind of have the counter to that quick strike passing game, because he just kind of grounds everything.
Yeah, it's interesting because Dukesy typically is a bit of a bruiser. However, in the game, I think it was East Kilbride earlier on this season, I think he housed one from about 60 yards out. You were commentating that game, weren't you?
I saw that one. Second and about 4. They go swing pass. They come back for Temple. Can he find the corner? He turns it, looks, jumps, dives, got the pylon. He's in! Touchdown Titans!
There he is again. They know about that total. They are trying to get him up the rankings. Real nice from Temple. Love the play design. Motions across, comes back behind on the orbital. Mills knows where he's going. What I would assume Mills has a read based on, does a defender track and follow Temple, or is he in a trail position? Gets the ball out quick, and that's what you want as a quarterback. Get the ball out of your hands into the hands of your playmakers, and Temple makes it happen.
And that's what I have to also. I love when wide receivers can block, and what you saw there with him, the ability to be able to find that corner was down to the 2 receivers out there doing work.
Absolutely, yeah, and that is a staple of the Manchester Titans offense is ooze blocking or stalk blocking, creep blocking, some people call it, whatever you call it. The intention is be patient. You only have to make a block for half a second to make something happen. Engaged blocks, you typically lose them because the defender can track the ball and you're not sure where the ball carrier is behind you. So, real impressive by the receivers and that athleticism from Temple there to the kind of hurdle, sort of.
We'll give it to him.
Yeah. We'll give him a half hurdle. Let's see BAFA's stats on the half hurdles for the year.
He's through the roof. So 14-0 to the Titans. Real quick, they've scored quickly on their first drive, and then they did an onside. Then they came back and scored in 3 plays on that drive. So real quick strike work from the Titans, something that you said that they needed to work on. They have.
There you go. Titans have been chipping away, working all season, as all teams have, but I know that it would have been a particular point of emphasis for Alex Challens and George Foster to make sure they're getting momentum early.
Now we go with a different kind of kickoff here, more of a line drive, picked up by one of the upbacks. He's going to try the middle, gets tapped around the ankles and goes down, but a nice return there from, I don't see that.
That is 7.
Was that our sheet?
Yeah, Derek Florence, who goes by 7.
Okay.
Who picked up 2 interceptions against East Kilbride earlier on this year. So, and I believe he's now taking place as a DB on the defense.
Okay. Wow, look at that. Tom Hine back at quarterback. We have trips look for the Merseyside Nighthawks. They come out with a tight end to the far side. They go back to that middle run game. Finds a little bit of wiggle room, gets past the line of scrimmage this time, but then shoved back right there. Met by a host of Titans. Maybe a gain of 1.
Yeah, Don Ospina getting out to the side. Tracking, flowing out, and making a good tackle. Ospina had last year for Titans an absolutely phenomenal year, and looking to return to that form.
Running back for the Nighthawks has been busy. Michael Zimyevsky. See if he gets it again. Oh, they go hard count. Everybody's offside or jumped or something, and we're going to sort it out here in a minute. I think the Titans jumped.
Yeah, I'd assume that this is potentially going to be an encroachment penalty where the Titans defensive player has touched the Merseyside offensive player before the ball has been snapped. But they might go with a neutral zone infraction, which means they entered the line of scrimmage again before the ball was snapped.
Isn't it you're supposed to let that one go, though? Because
it depends on whether they're unabated to the quarterback.
Oh, yeah, that whole unabated. I've never heard that word in any other context.
No, you're absolutely right. I haven't either. But whatever the penalty was, it's a 5-yard penalty, which pushes Merseyside forward for their biggest gain of the day.
So they bring up 2nd and let's call it 6. They stay in that same formation. Hine, fumbles the snap. And I think Merseyside got back on top of that one. Zimyevsky, quick off the draw, is able to get down to the ground and only lose a couple, but brings up 3rd and about 5. didn't quite see it. It just kind of go off his hands. I didn't quite see what happened.
Yeah, I think the snap maybe floated ever so slightly. Just couldn't corral it.
And it's one of those things where I think taking shotgun snaps is one of those sort of learned skills, how to just do it repetitively every time to be able to take that kind of snap. They go to the air. Hine goes to the sideline, and that's going to be picked. Probably one of the easier picks he's ever going to get, but a nice play indeed over there on the far side. Who was that got that?
That was sword bearer Jos Belela coming up with the interception. He might be hoping to climb up the rankings himself. I think he's had a couple of interceptions as of late as the Titans offense comes out.
They just had two people sitting over that. Right where he was looking. And even if he would have gone to the post route, I think Belela was in good position as well. He was just there.
Yeah, and just to go back to something you mentioned before about being a quarterback in a shotgun, as a quarterback yourself, you know, you can sometimes lose focus. You're so familiar, you know, and Tom Hine perhaps not so familiar with taking shotgun snaps, but when you're so familiar with doing it, it can kind of become second nature. You lose focus, and then all of a sudden, you maybe drop a snap here or there.
Yep, it just takes that little bit. Merseyside tries a blitz from the outside, but that's the wrong place to blitz because the Titans are up the middle. Jukes goes for 15. Straight up the gut.
Great block by center Scott Tomlinson. Driving his man out the way, making room for Nathan Jukes.
New receiver checks into the ball game. Hermino Manga. He's coming in at running back, it looks like. As they change formation.
2-back set.
They go right to him as he comes in, looks on the outside zone, cuts it up inside, gets a gain of 5. That was exactly the right cut, I think. It wasn't there the outside. That was the right cut back to the inside.
Yeah, Manga, I think, has picked up the game this year. I think his first season with the MMU Eagles. Played against him with the Lancashire Rams, and a lot of promise. A lot of promise in that, and already you could see making sensible decisions on the cut.
Yeah. So Jukes stays in. Titans go back to 3 wide receivers. They motion across into the orbit. They go back to Jukes up the middle. He's got a hand on him straight away, and that's a good tackle. Good tackle there from Michael French, the defensive tackle, longtime Nighthawk. Played for the team over 7 years and comes up with a nice tackle there to make it 3rd down.
Yeah, great block again by Matteo Narsi. Pancaking his guys, taking him to the floor. Titans offensive line maybe teeing off a little bit on these tired Merseyside linemen.
There are a couple going both ways, I think. George Banya, 77. Seen him playing both sides of the ball. And see what the Titans can cook up here on 3rd down. It's 3rd and 4. They go with a bunch formation to the right. Some late communication going on there from Connor Greenhouse. We go with more of a pistol. They go pitch. Jukes looks for the corner. He turns it up inside. Good block ahead of him. It's going to be close to a 1st down. I think he might be half a yard short. 4th and very short for the Titans. I think they might go for it.
Yeah, there's in a game of like this where the Titans are expecting and so far have been dominating, Titans won't put the field goal unit on here.
Temple comes off. Manga comes on. Go back to that 2 running back set.
You'd expect, unless there is a very obvious RPO pass, that they're going to give this ball to Nathan Jukes.
Even looking over here, Escott to the near side. There is no safety help over the top. Maybe a little RPO. But they go Jukes, they go middle, they go power, and they go for a 1st down. Gain of 3, turns the chains, sets up 1st and goal. That's just power. It's nice when you can rely on that kind of play to get you 3-4 yards pretty much every time.
Yeah, Jukes just piles forward. You know, once you get to the line of scrimmage, if he falls forwards, he's got more than enough.
He's got 2.
And with a head of steam,
yeah,
tough to bring down.
Titans go back to trips. Far side. Mills looks near side. He wants to go to the flight. He's got Jukes on the back shoulder, but can't quite pull it in.
Yeah, a little behind Jukes there. Mills will want that one back. Might be his first incompletion of the day.
Yep. And I apologize. It's a 2nd and 10. They were just outside the 10, so they do have the opportunity to still get a 1st down. They're about the 12-yard line, the Titans. What do you like here? What do you like here? It's condensed down here. You're at the 12. not everything's open? What do you like?
Trips to the top of the screen, I like Connor Greenhalgh or Brad Temple on an in-breaking route or a corner route to the back pylon.
They turn it into quads. They go underneath to the screen, and that's going to have an easy walk-in touchdown. Titans again, up 20-0.
Sam Wilson on the screen there, and you get those two receivers. As we were talking about earlier, that receiver blocking is important. And you also are basically just saying with man coverage out there, so, men marking each other, they motion over Charlie Escott with an unbalanced formation, so you get a numerical advantage to the top of the screen, and you just say, we're going to block you with our best guys, you make a play, or we're going to score.
They almost telegraphed it entirely by moving every single receiver they had over there. If they don't go there, it seems odd.
Yeah, it's interesting, because a lot of people think that football is really complicated, but there's so many aspects of football that are simple. That is just simply a numerical advantage. Do we have more players available to block than you have available to tackle? And with the motioning Charlie Escott, they're going to have a guy in a trail position. So he might arrive half a second late. Well, with receivers like Sam Wilson, Connor Greenhalgh, Brad Temple, who are speed defined, it's a case of that half a second delay is going to cause big problems for the Merseyside Nighthawks.
And I have to give a shout out to OC Alex Challenge as well, because it takes a little creativity to create a formation like that, especially off of a motion where the far side receiver, the single side, has to be off the line. There's a little bit to account for, a little bit of creativity that has to come into a play like that working. Well done.
Yeah, you got to know the rules. You got to know your stuff, and Challenge is a huge fan of college football. Big Alabama Tide fan.
Roll Tide.
And I assume that he takes a lot of inspiration from that college football.
Another pooch kick high up in the air. Going to be collected by Merseyside, taken down at about the 30. That's the second time Lankowski's done that.
Boris Gavin with the tackle there, former Durham Saints and Newcastle Vikings player. Interesting, I think Gavin ends up actually getting a really good, a Merseyside player ends up getting a really good block on him, and then Gavin, whilst on the floor, manages to grab the ankle of the return man and make the tackle.
That is just commitment to the cause. I love special teams. I hope it never really gets taken out of the game, because you see some really athletic plays and tackles and all sorts of stuff. Oh yeah, special teams is the great equalizer. With two opponents who are evenly matched, there's two things that really come into play: special teams and discipline. Yeah. Oh, that's so true. They go back to the ground. Oh, that's going to be a fumbled handoff, but Hine does pick it up, scrambles back to his feet, gets nearly back to the line of scrimmage, a loss of one. Could have been much worse. Yeah, brought down there on the backside by Dan Ward, GB defensive back. Comes and clears up a little bit of a messy one. But as we talked about pre-game, suffocating the line of scrimmage, so far the Titans' defense has done exactly that. 21-0 here in the first quarter in Manchester. Titans looking dominant. Merseyside looking to turn things around on their third drive. They go trips to the far side. Hine goes back to the middle, and that Titans' defense is just suffocating through the middle again. Who got off the bottom of the pile there? I was trying to see who that was. I think that was Joanna Annenkin. Again, he's had a lot of tackles today. He has. He had been busy. Has to come off the field because his helmet come off just for one play, but I'm sure he'll, with the form that he's displaying right now, he's going to be back on the field in no time. Don't want to jump too far ahead here, but if the Titans do end up getting a 35-point differential, or 35 points clear of the Merseyside Nighthawks, it will start a rolling clock from the second half onwards. Look how far down those safeties are playing for Manchester. Maybe 7 to 9 yards off the line of scrimmage. They're playing really far down, really compressing Merseyside. As they go back underneath to the run, there is a block or two in front of him, but there's just too many Titans to deal with, and he's going to be taken down right at about the line of scrimmage. Brings up a third down. Yeah, impossible to name a tackler in a situation like that. Everybody's in on the ball. And, in a game like this where perhaps the Merseyside play caller has decided, you know what, maybe we won't ask our defensive linemen to pass the ball too much.
everybody's going to be hungry for getting involved. The safeties are going to play closer to the line and come down into that alley. May end up causing a problem at some point if the Nighthawks can get a half decent pass off, but for now it's been all Titans.
Merseyside sticking in it, but down 21 and has to punt here, but another decent punt, end over end, carries to about the 30, picked up, and now a return. Titans have a wall. If he can get around one more, he does. And one more. Can he get the sideline? Scott working hard, and finally is slowed down just enough and does a lot of work for about a 9-yard return.
Yeah. Well, you just get around that corner and then maybe one more move and you get there, and then you've got to put one more move on, and eventually you run out of space.
As we're between drives, let's get a couple of sponsors in. We've partnered with Muscle Food. Use code BUILD-TITANS at checkout, and the Titans Club receives 10% of the order value that directly helps support our fundraising efforts. That's BUILD-TITANS at checkout. And also, if you're enjoying the live stream, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channels. The stream is right here on YouTube, but follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and a good old website, manchestertitans.co.uk, for information on clubs, teams, merch, and how to get involved, because it's much more than just what we have on the product in front of us. I have to say, as a commentator coming in here, seeing how many people behind the scenes are making this whole game day experience work is really impressive.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of teams in Brit Ball right now. This is excluding the newly set up London Warriors team that are really working hard to try and professionalise the sport.
Mills back to pass on second down. He has Jukes out in the flat. He's got a couple of hard-working wide receiver blocks in front of him, and taken down just a yard short of the first down, 3rd and 1.
Yeah, Brad Temple and Sam Wilson on the outside there. If you were to watch the play back, you'd see Sam Wilson engages early but maintains his block, which is tough to do, honestly. Brad Temple, he only ends up blocking for half a second, but it is just enough to create that space for Jukes.
Just at the right time. And there goes Temple across the formation. Mills looks that way, but he comes back underneath for the screen. That may have hit the turf. I think it did. Intended for Scott. Incomplete. 4th and 2 from the 42. Let's see what the Titans want to do.
Brad Temple's half hurdle has been tied by number 22, Apakma.
We'll have a half hurdle. Thanks for tracking those stats.
Yeah. No worries.
Doing the hard work up here in the booth. Merseyside comes down hard in man coverage, but I think he may have been offside when that DB came down. Managed to get back onside. Trips to the top of the screen for the Titans on 4th down. They go middle. They go Jukes. He piles over a man right at the first down marker and gets his first down. That's a power back doing his job.
Yeah, great tackle by... You've done a better job of pronouncing his surname than I have. I'll give it a go. Zmijewski. Zmijewski.
Yes.
Great tackle there, but just not quite enough. Gets bowled over by Nathan Alstott.
Here we go. Back to work. Mills goes to the screen and more room to work. Look at those offensive linemen work. 10, 15 yards downfield, and that's going to be a touchdown. 50 yards. Titans again.
Scott Tomlinson. Just let me get these numbers right here. Josh Wallace. And I think Toby Squire take a bow. Sam Wilson catches the ball. Great job, Sam. The rest of it is the offensive line. Sam Wilson pints in for those offensive linemen after the game because that's a great team touchdown there.
We can see it on the replay that there are offensive linemen down in the end zone come the end of that play. That is huge to see. There was at least 3 out there. That is about as good as a screen can be ran. That was great. Let's see if we can add the afters now. Fireworks all over the day for the Titans. And they do like clockwork. There's Lankowski with one more. 28-0, and I think we're still in the first quarter.
Yeah, and now you're at the point where you have to kind of balance your rotations and depth.
That's only, 4 drives for the starters? 5?
Absolutely.
4, yeah.
Yeah, and back when I was playing for the Titans, it was kind of a... If we had 21 points clear of the opponent and we had momentum, which obviously is not measurable, but you can feel momentum.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, you know. Then we would start to rotate through. So looking at some of your key players, your offensive line, Josh Mills, Nathan Jukes, some of your receivers, perhaps thinking, okay, at what point do we start rotating him?
Well, Mills has looked awful sharp today. He's gone downfield a couple of times, deep, one for a touchdown, one to Temple. But a lot of it's been short, underneath stuff, hitting the screens, but hitting it on time. Everything's looked sharp.
Yeah, and as we said pre-game, keep it simple, stupid. Yep. Mills is taking what they're giving him, and as long as they don't start forcing things, it's going to continue to yield positive results. Another
really high kick that time from Linkowski. That one felt like it took about a year and a half to come down. Fair catch called for. Probably a smart decision, because it probably would have gotten smoked if he hadn't. And that's where Merseyside will take over at the 25.
Smart choice by first-time Nighthawk Dan Cleary, making a fair catch there on a kick return. Not something I'd expect to see from a rookie player, but perhaps he's a veteran of the sport, just his first season with the Nighthawks this year.
And if I'm on a return team, that is probably one of the first things I learn how to do. Nighthawks set up here down 28-0, and they got two trips out to the far side. They go with a little bit of motion pre-snap. Doesn't affect what the Titans do. And now Hine takes it off right side. He's going to be eaten up quickly, though. Back to the line of scrimmage. Titans defense stays real sharp.
Yeah, Rory Dodgson, very quick to recognise that run there. Gets straight out, meets Hine, and wins that battle this time.
Hine did look quick, though. I mean, that quarterback run might be something for them to go back to. I don't think it was following the blocking very well on that one, but he looked good as a runner.
Yeah, at this point for the Nighthawks, you've just got to find a way to make something happen. If you can find a hot hand, ride it.
So they set up again. Hine in the backfield with two receivers to his near side. They go back underneath, but whistles before the snap. Might be a false start. There it is. There's the call. False start called on Merseyside. Titans look good here, up 28-0. They've scored quickly when they've had the ball. They've been going downfield, and they've been playing stout defense on the other side. 2nd and 16 here for Merseyside. They try to go hard count. Everybody stays put. Oh, and there's another fumbled snap. It's on the floor. I think Merseyside got that one back. Yep, they did. Brings up 3rd and what they didn't want to get into, about 20.
Yeah, some of these snaps are maybe coming a touch low, but Hine needs to keep his eyes on the snap. If he's a little bit unfamiliar with this, then your number one job is to protect the football.
I would agree that there's been a few now, and a lot of them are just kind of going off the fingertips, but that can just be that simple case of taking your eye off the fingers, not watching it all the way in because you're trying to worry about the 16,000 other things that you got to do at the same time. It can be a tall order, but hopefully you can get a handle on it, no pun intended, as we go. But it's been a really good first quarter for the Titans, up 28-0, scoring in all sorts of ways, and they got them backed up again here on 3rd down. While we got a second, let's take a read from our sponsors. We partnered with Supreme Financial Solutions this year. Supreme offers advice on a range of products and services that can support you to reach your personal financial goals. Whether you're looking for your first home or the peace of mind to ensure you have protection and the cover you need, Supreme can help. They'll work to find your best financial solutions suited to your needs and help you to put you in control of financial plans. Supreme Financial Solutions, thank you for your support. Titans looking to continue what they've done in the first quarter, and if they do, they're going to be into the running clock situation in the second half soon, because that is a 35-point margin they have to get to, and they are knocking on that door quick, up 28-0. And they got Merseyside backed up in a 3rd and 20 following the fumble. Got a little bit of a change in coverage there from the Titans. James Eaton calling out orders from his nickelback spot. And you got the PA announcer with the big defense call. Titans show blitz off the outside. Here it comes. They get the throw away and just out of the reach of the intended receiver for Hine. Couldn't bring it in, but it was close for Liam Catling. And that will bring up 4th down.
Yeah, certainly a lot better than the previous pass. So if that trend continues, by the 4th quarter, Hine will be slinging it with the best of them.
I have to say, I wouldn't throw it to the sideline. I think that is one of the problems. Like, I would try to maybe put one up over the middle. Maybe try to take more of a seam shot, something like that.
Yeah, a quick out for an inexperienced quarterback is a bit harder than people probably think that it is.
I remember I was just throwing in the garden with one of my friends a few years ago, and I played quarterback, and he just took a snap, and he just kind of threw the ball to himself and went to go do it. He goes, "Oh my God, I don't know how you do this. How do you do all these things?" And there is a lot. But there's the punt. That one not as good as the rest, and that one's gonna go. Does it go out? I think that one's still in play. It's picked up, and a heads-up play there.
Sam Wilson.
Because that one never went out because there was a massive block here on the sideline that everybody reacted to. I think they thought the ball just went out. Looked like 2 Titans took out one of the Merseyside players on the near sideline. Yeah, big hit. Oh my gosh! And everybody thought the ball was out.
Yeah,
he was the only one that reacted.
Great pressure on the punter to force that kick, which was that name again, Juwan. Let me get this correct. Anninken. Juwan Anninken, who made maybe 2 or 3 tackles on the first drive to force the punt. We've called his name a couple of times since, and just got pressure on that punt there, having a very, very nice day.
Titans got great field position set up here for their next drive, starting from about the 22 as they go trips to the far side. They try to give up the middle, but early whistles. I think a timeout potentially.
And as we look at the players who are now on the field, there has been some rotation. We've got Matt. We've got Matt Wilson in at wide receiver at the bottom of the screen with the red boots. Christian Dean, number 15, has come in, and we've got. Just listening to the penalty.
Timeout.
Oh, timeout.
Merseyside. I don't think they wanted to take one. Nobody really reacted.
Manga's come in at running back. We saw him briefly before on a run. And I think they've rotated through 1 or 2 linemen as well. Andy Jones has come in at left tackle. So Titans making some conscious decisions to give their starters some breathing time, or maybe, just maybe, that'll be them done for the day.
Titans have been real sharp. Mills stays in as he'll get a few more snaps before they rotate there. A little bit of changing coverage from Merseyside off the timeout. And let's see what the Titans have cooked up here on 1st down as they try to get up 35, starting from the 22. Mills, read option, goes to the sideline. He's got a man! Touchdown, Matt Wilson. It's just that easy.
Matt Wilson, GB wide receiver for the first time this year, showing why. You know, before the play, and I really regret not saying anything, before the play I saw the single coverage against Matt Wilson with a single high safety and figured that this might be, let's take a shot here.
You say it.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, big fan of Matt Wilson. Been working with him at GB this year, and just a do-it-all guy.
He's quick. He had yards of separation when there isn't that much space to get separation down here.
Yeah, very clean at the line of scrimmage.
Lenkowski adds 1 more, and that's the Titans up 35. I have to say, the special teams works like clockwork for the Titans. Every snap, every hold, you don't see a lot of misstep in that process.
Yeah, Lenkowski wouldn't, the coaching staff, of course, wouldn't allow for anything other than that, but Lenkowski himself, if things were not, on time, like clockwork, Lenkowski's going to let the special teams unit know, and he's not going to stand for it.
Well, the Titans have been quick strike all day long. Another one-play drive added right there, and it was so simple. Mills looked really comfortable. You could call it sort of a play action. I think that was more just for show. I think he knew he was going down the sideline the whole time. Hit him right in step. Didn't even need to tap the toes really at the back of the end zone. Hits him right in the middle. That is a beautiful touchdown.
Yeah, and it's a timing pass, really. As you said, Mills knows he's going there, so he's just going to put that ball in. It might drag a safety or an outside backer, but really when you know you're going deep sideline and against single high coverage, it's just about ball placement and timing.
Let it rip. Another line drive kick from Lenkowski. This one is gone out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. And Merseyside will make themselves back onto the field. And, they look, it's a tough day. You see them walking around a little bit. But I have a full bunch of appreciation for the players that are out there, knowing that this is their last game of the season, and still want to go out there and play, continuing to put in effort.
Yeah, and if Merseyside were to say, you know what, we just simply don't have the numbers or something like that, like so many teams, unfortunately, have to or end up doing for whatever reason in the game, they could go for that approach, but they've come out and they're giving it their best shot. You've got guys who are playing out of position, and hopefully, we can see some sparks of life that they might access in their Division 1.
Hine, handles a low snap there. That one could have been disaster, but does pick it up, but it does go for loss. Another nice tackle inside. I think that was Robin Payer who was there first. GB, defensive tackle, got in there quick.
Yeah, and that man again, Anninken, I think that he might have played at Manchester Met Eagles this year.
He's been all over the place today.
Juwan Anninken.
He is.
Might have played at MMU Eagles, but regardless, as someone who's watched every Titans game over the past few years, certainly a career day in his Titans career.
Their refs are making an announcement now. I think it has something to do with the music that's been going on over the PA system. Has maybe been playing a little bit too long.
Yeah, once the ball is set and the offensive team is ready to, make the play, the music needs to stop. So, potential 15-yard penalty on the PA loading.
I honestly, every single game I go to, I learn something new. And there's a new one. I didn't know you could get flagged for that. Let's see what Merseyside can do here on second down. Titans walk their coverage down. Maybe, they are anticipating that screen. It comes, and they are well prepared. It goes incomplete. I saw the nickelback out there. I think it was Dan Ward. It seems like he knew it was coming. He stepped up right to where that ball was going to go and was there to blow that screen up before it could get going. Merseyside comes out on second down, third and 14.
Yeah, missing some music in the stadium now. It seems like the PA has just gone full rogue and has decided not to play any.
Fine, I won't play anything. Joel Dooley here at the near side defensive end on 2. Looking to make a little havoc in the backfield. Hine, hard count. Trying to get him to pop. Can't do it. And that took a very long time, and I think that's going to be a delay game.
Yeah, delay of game, penalty. Titans celebrating as Merseyside try to catch them out, and they don't fall for it. Not this time.
Who is that? I think that was Boris Gavin, the linebacker there. You could just see him sort of pointing like, snap the ball. Come on, snap the ball. I'm ready. He's always willing the center to snap it. But it drives Merseyside back a little further. 3rd and 20 here for Hine in the offense. They go read option, ran well, flag down. Hine rumbles forward, and that's going to be a nice play for Merseyside today. A gain of about 9. He gets up. He's riled up. We'll see what the penalty was. I think it may have been an offside, how quickly it was thrown.
I initially thought it was going to be a false start from Merseyside, but given that they didn't blow the play dead, it must be a neutral zone infraction or a false start. Or a offside.
Look at Liverpool's players, or Merseyside's players are quite celebratory over that game. Waiting to hear what the call is, though. It could have been a hold, but maybe I don't see them calling a hold on the far side of that play. Yeah, it is offside. Somebody got a little too antsy with standing in the neutral zone, and it'll bring up 4th and 11.
I think that Merseyside have declined the penalty, which
just to have the yards.
Yeah, give them, I suppose, a little bit more field position as
one of their best plays of the day. Absolutely. You don't want to take that off the board, do you?
Nick Mitchelson's back to punt, former Manchester Titan and Great Britain squad member.
Been a couple of good punts today. The last one, not so good. Let's see what they can do here. Ooh, a line driver. Oh, and it's going to be a very astute play there from the up back. He's cut it across field. Dan Ward looking for space. Can he turn the corner? And an unconventional punt return is not quite going to get there. Bumped out at the 3. Ward was back to be a blocker, blocked the ball with his hand on a live drive punt, and decided, let's make something out of this, and he nearly turns it into 6.
Heads up play from Dan Ward, under no pressure. You can take the time to maybe go, you know what, this is great field position. As long as I can field this ball, this time, he managed to get it. Unfortunately, caught by the speedy Nick Mitchelson.
Oh, that's such... To have that play not end in a highlight touchdown is almost a disservice to highlights. That was a great play. Really heads up to block that with his hand. Like, you could kind of saw him think about it, and then finally was like, yeah, okay, like, I'll just knock it down, and then athletic enough to turn it into something.
Yeah, really nice.
Mills puts a man in motion, might be looking for that screen again. No, they go underneath Termanga. He looks for the end zone. He's got it. One play drive for the Titans again on the board for the 6th time today. It's been all Titans all day. Touchdown, Manga.
Yeah, and Titans were already at 35, but just adding insult to injury there means that unless Merseyside can erase the deficit back down to 34 or less, there will be a rolling clock that starts immediately on the beginning of the second half.
That was... It's just been, as soon as they get their hands on the ball, it's like the Titans cannot wait to score. They are so excited.
Oh, yeah, and they will stay aggressive all game here. One would expect that quarterback Josh Mills would perhaps come out here, and I think backup quarterback Alex Ross would see the remainder of the time. But we'll see... We'll see what Alex Challens and George Foster think. They might want to get Mills a bit more time, practice a few more things. Yeah, you know, again, Titans, yes, they are playing this game, and yes, they are leading, and they've got, you know, I think 1 or maybe 2 more games to come after this before they hit the playoffs. So they're trying to stay in form, and they'll be trying to practice things that they need against live reps against opponents as opposed to practice reps.
One of the things, because the Titans seem to be up by so much, they don't run a lot of no huddle, mainly because they don't need to. But is that something that they work on in practice because it might be something that you need at some point?
Yeah, so the Titans' offense calls everything by hand signals, and you have the ability, therefore, to get to, the mentality has always been get to the line of scrimmage quickly, and then everything else can take its time.
Adjust.
That means that they can call, you know, plays with a with a kill. So you call 2 plays, and if the quarterback identifies a certain thing and shouts kill, 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 or cancel, or a particular code word, they can go to the second play as a backup. But it also means that they have the ability to run tempo if and when they need. So having not been to a Titans practice this year, or in the past 2 years, with Alex Challens at the helm, can't say for sure, but I would imagine that there are tempo packages that Titans would run.
I mean, it makes it quite simple if you're running everything by hand signal. Whether you stand in the huddle and do that or stand at the line of scrimmage and do that, it's all pretty easily to manage over. Merseyside, though, needs to pick up some pace on offense. Let's see what they can do. They had a nice play to end the last drive, but there's another fumbled snap and a rip! Titans force the fumble. It's a fight at the bottom of the pile. I think that's Rory Dodgson that's down there for the Titans. Hine for Merseyside. Who comes up with it? No signal yet. It was just ripped out of the hands of the running back.
Now, this will be interesting because I think the referees might have made a mistake here by calling the
first running back down
player, the ball carrier down. Now, the argument might be that forward momentum had been stopped and he was beginning to go forwards, but usually they give a touch more time, a touch more leeway than that. So without having watched it back fully, I kind of think that Merseyside might have gotten away with one there.
It was really close looking at it on the replay. But whatever it is, Merseyside holds on. And now Hine, in a lot of trouble, dodges, all moving his feet all over the place, and finally taken down at the line of scrimmage. They wanted to go for the pass. It wasn't there. And just tried to do his best to get out of trouble.
Yeah, dodged 3 or 4 defensive linemen there before Robin Pyer eventually gets to him and brings him down. Pyer joined the GB development squad this year, but been making waves at Lancashire Rams this year and had a fantastic season as a young developmental player with Titans as well. I would expect another player there to potentially have his name called up come October when the GB development squad takes on Georgia and or Spain.
Where will that game be?
So Georgia is the Georgia game is away in Georgia, so that's pretty big journey. And then Spain is a double header with the Lions performance squad.
Different formation there for Merseyside. They had a couple of tight ends in, and they slammed it forward for 4 yards. That formation did work a little bit better for him. But that will bring up 4th and 8, and most likely a punt for the Nighthawks. So we've had it all here. There's been offensive fireworks. There's been defensive fireworks. We have some special teams fun. It almost seems like every time the Titans have a chance to do something, they're doing something good today.
Yeah, and like I said to begin the game, I think that Titans will not be taking Merseyside lightly. They'll want to execute to a high level because they'll recognise that, Britball's watching.
Decent punt here, a little bit further. That's going to be taken at about the 40 and tripped up. Good tackle. Nice tackle there from Zimejewski. The running back pops up on special teams, trips him up, and puts the Titans at about midfield, and there is a player down for Merseyside. I can't quite see who it is, but looks like a back injury off the special teams play. We'll hope that he can get up. Just a little delay here. We're trying to get a number.
We don't have a number 6.
No, we do not have a number 6.
Being seen to by Mary, the Titans, Mary Priestner, the Titans' excellent physiotherapist and medic.
It is a wonderful thing having a good physio on the side of the field.
Oh, Mary is absolutely the best. We're blessed to have her at Lancashire Rams for a year or two, and pre-game massage, taping, always made herself available for players during the week as well. Genuinely, in 25 years in British American football, there's very few people or very few medics and physios I've come across who have a better setup and who care more and want to support more than Mary Priestner and her her program. She also takes young physios and gives them kind of apprenticeship opportunities as well.
Go on, Mary. Mills stays in the game. He quickly comes out with a short reception, but it's going to be turned into fireworks down the sideline. Touchdown, Titans. Matt Wilson makes him look silly.
Unbelievable. I've said it before. I'll say it again. He can do it all. He can, you know, he's this past year head-topped some of Great Britain's best DBs. He's taking balls underneath, stiff-arming 3-4 guys and breaking tackles all the way to the end zone. If Matt Wilson gets the ball in hand, he is a problem.
Josh Mills is going to be very happy with his receiver crew today. They have taken some of those short passes and turned them into a ton of yards.
Yeah, and we see them calling 2 here, and there's probably 2 reasons for that. The Titans will want they'll want a certain scoreline. It might be that it's 50. They'll also want to practice their 2-point plays because red zone plays are hard.
Mills rolls. He's got 2 options. He's got one in the flat. It's complete, and he walks it in. Nice little 2-point play there. Reception by Hafiz Baziro? No, who was it? Charlie Escott there, wide receiver.
Yeah.
Walks it in. Nice little play.
That's without giving away too many secrets. You know, that's a former offensive coordinator Luke Carlton's special. It's the whip route to the backside single receiver with a rollout, and ultimately, you know, that was a favourite of mine and receiver Max Gracie Ainscoe. It's essentially he'll run that little slant, and because the defensive back is in press tight coverage against the receiver, it's so difficult to recognize whether that player is going to run a slant, which is just one step and cut inside, or whether they're going to run a whip, which is a one step, cut inside, and then bang yourself back out to the sideline. The DB's in a trail position, and it's really a tough spot to be in as a defensive back. If Mills doesn't like the pass, he can take the ball in himself, and it's not very often that you see that play get stopped on the goal line.
It's very similar to footy. Like when a winger is trying to make some space, they'll go forward to come back, right? Then that's all you're doing really on that slant is you're going to the inside to create some space to come right back into it, and there was acres of it out there.
Yeah.
Another short little pooch here from Lenkowski. This one is going to get all the way back, but there's going to be some miscommunication back there. Finally picked up, and they are going to suffer some field position for that. Apakma just let it go right between the two of them, ends up recovering. And that's going to be 1st and 10 for Merseyside around the 15.
Yeah, a host of Titans in on that tackle, but I think Boris Gavin might have been first to the post there, making his 2nd special teams tackle of the day. Puts Merseyside in some tough field position right around the 14-yard line. Titans will know that if they can get 1 or 2 stops in the backfield, there'll be blood in the water for potential safeties or stripping that football, taking it back to the house. They'll be very, very aggressive here, Manchester, especially considering they haven't seen a great deal of successful passing from Merseyside so far.
50-0 here in the 2nd quarter for the Titans. Been all over Merseyside this afternoon. Merseyside up inside, nowhere to go, loss of 1. And that has been about the average play so far in this game for Merseyside. A run up the middle for no gain or a loss.
Yeah, suffocating the line of scrimmage. It's one of those things that I half expected the Titans to continue like they have been throughout the season. And, you know, as this game goes on, the fatigue of the Merseyside offensive linemen, who are also playing on defensive line, is going to be very real. And you just hope that everybody stays healthy and as fresh as possible. Hopefully we'll see something from the Merseyside offense.
I said there's room for a seam here, and there definitely is. The middle of the field completely abandoned for the Titans as they push their safeties over the top of the receivers. If there is any room to pass somewhere, it is over the middle. But let's see what Merseyside does. They go back for the middle run. Clogged up yet again. I see who got off the bottom of that pile. It looks like a linebacker. I think it was Boris Gavin who got up off the bottom, makes the tackle, brings up 3rd and long.
Yeah, and the Titans will be essentially challenging Merseyside to say, okay, well, you're going to run the ball, 99.9% of the time. We're not going to respect the pass, and we're going to put everybody down close to the line of scrimmage until you show us that you can pass.
That is just solid defensive coordination. They come back with a 2 wide receiver set to the far side, 1 to the near side. see if they want to go with something besides the out route here, which is their 2 passing attempts they've had. That's where they've gone. Or a screen. Oh, they try to time up the blitz. Titans do manage to stay onside. I'm actually really impressed there.
Fraser Galloway, Lancashire Rams 3-time defensive MVP of the year, making a tackle there. Very, very nice. You're right. The fact that he managed to stay onside.
That was more impressive.
Feat of athleticism makes the tackle in the backfield. And I think the Merseyside Nighthawks are asking the official to let them know when there's 10 seconds left on the play clock so they can snap the ball with as little time as possible, burning as much time as possible. You know, Merseyside are trying to get out of this game alive, I think.
Yeah. They're going to be punting from their own end zone here. Been a mixture of punts today. Let's see what kind of one we get here. Oh, nearly a block. Came in real hard there, but a decent punt is going to roll and roll and roll. Take a nice Merseyside hop out to midfield. Nearly touched about 4 times, and then finally put down right near midfield.
Yeah, Fraser Galloway making, getting some good pressure on the punt there as well. Very close. So good drive from Galloway. Let's see what the Titans do here. I wonder if Josh Mills or Alex Ross is going to take snaps from under centre. Mills does not have his helmet in hand, so we're expecting, Alex Ross, former Chester Roman, former MMU Eagle, taking snaps now for the Titans. Unsure if the Titans have got a third string quarterback here today. Charlie Martin, the starter from last year, still recovering from his shoulder injury, working his way back.
First one's a handoff. Menga makes a man miss. What a juke! Back inside. Oh, that was pretty. Gain of 20. Wow, he got upfield fast.
Yeah, put a Pacma on skates there. Just made him hesitate in the backfield, and that's all you need when you've got that speed and agility.
He had so much space in which to operate as well as he was pulling through there. That little juke had tons of effect because there was so much room for him to work in.
Oh, yeah. And you know, for a player with speed, I think that space it works very differently for a player like him compared to a player like myself, where that space disappears very fast.
I hear you there. I love the pocket. Just let me stay there.
Oh, yeah. I don't mind a rollout as long as the protection's there.
As long as the pocket comes with you.
Exactly. The pocket has to move, otherwise I'm staying put.
No, okay, the chains were wrong. I knew that wasn't a gain of 20. I think the chains were just wrong. So it's a gain of 7. 2nd and 3. That makes much more sense to me. Let's see what the Titans want to do here out of the split back formation. They go back to Menga on the lead. He's got 2 blockers out in front of him, uses them both. Hand on the back, and now he's got his first down. Nice little run, power, inside lead from Jukes, and just follow him.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here because I didn't do it last time and say Christian Dean at the bottom of the screen in number 15. Working again. That is a horrible rhyme.
That sounded great.
Christian Dean at the bottom of the screen wearing number 15. I fully anticipate Alex Challens to, unless they score on this play, to take a shot with him against number 3 in single coverage.
I really liked your Dr. Seussing there. Titans go with the motion, but they go back to Menga up the middle. Tries to go back inside. He's met by a whole host of Nighthawks and taken down for a gain of 6. I think if he would have gone outside there at the point, he had quite a bit of running room.
Yeah, I think I think that's potentially, that inexperience, his first time
Follow your
playing
blocks
football.
is what you're told over and over again.
You've got that patience, and the patience is really hard to learn. It looks like he might have done a pretty good job of recognising and understanding that, but we'll see. Christian Dean at the bottom of the screen, completely uncovered so far.
Oh my God, he is absolutely uncovered.
So let's see if Alex Ross recognises that.
Very late.
2 against 3 at the bottom of the screen here, and Merseyside make a correction there.
Well, they were all over the shop there, Merseyside, just for getting one of the players out there. But now they go back to the run game. This time outside zone. There's a cut. There's 2. Can he find the goal line? No, wrapped up at the 5. Just one little slip tackle away from a touchdown there. All Menga on this drive. And, gosh, he's nearly finished it himself.
Yeah, he does have impressive patience that you don't see from a rookie player. Potentially has a rugby background, or maybe he's just received, great coaching. But we do see...
I gotta be honest, though. Like, my son, who's 6, could run through that hole. Like, that hole is massive. It's not hard to say to somebody, hey, you see this massive area that they've cleared out for you? Go there.
Yeah, Titans' offensive line and receivers doing the dirty work, so Manga can stay untouched.
Let's see what they want to do. Will they let him finish off the drive? It's 1st and goal from the 6. They go to the air. Inside slant, just out of the reach. That one was a fastball intended for Connor Greenosh.
Yeah, looking for that quick pop pass. Another former sort of Luke Carlton Titans staple.
I love that route. I love that one.
Yeah, you just take the leverage of the DB and one step, there's really so little time to react. If the ball is accurate, it's so tough to stop.
They stay with that 2-back formation. 2nd and goal. Quarterback and receiver talk to each other. One goes in motion. Around the outside, they go back underneath. Manga looks for pay dirt. He's in! Touchdown Titans, another touchdown for him today. What a first half. Herminio Manga.
Yeah, pretty much untouched until he arrived at the end zone. Great blocking from the Titans' offensive line. And with speed like Manga has, it's tough to answer that on the goal line.
Yeah, I mean, showing that he can do it sort of all over the field. In zone, red zone, out in the open field. That's really nice work there for Manga on that drive. Chews up nearly every yard of it himself, all the way from midfield, and puts it in for 6.
And as much as you'd like, all the games that Premiership teams are playing to be competitive, one of the, I suppose, silver linings is you do get the opportunity to develop guys like Manga, or some of the guys that are likely to play in the second half are going to get these opportunities to execute plays against, good level opponents, so that by the time you get into the playoffs or a few years down the line, you've just got these highly developed, highly skilled, and most importantly, intellectually skilled athletes as well.
8 touchdowns for the Titans here in the first half, and we're not done. That is an impressive effort.
Yeah, and I suppose to address the elephant in the room is the games really in the Premiership shouldn't be this way, shouldn't be like this. So, how do the Titans going into the second half retain their focus? I think that it's always tough as a head coach to motivate your guys when the game is going this way, but with the rotations, the guys who are coming in are going to be quite hungry to keep up that, that momentum, to keep up the same standard. It'll be tough to do that because, inevitably, the starters are the starters for a reason. So there will be somewhat of skill, experience, or intelligence, or football intelligence rather, drop off. But George Foster, head coach, and James Dean, defensive coordinator, Alex Challenge, offensive coordinator, they'll have briefed the guys and said, we need to make sure there's no drop off.
That's an up back, and I think that the person who took that has 7 on their jersey, as in 72. I'm going to get you Nick Mitchelson on the return, number 72. Don't see that very often.
No, but he will relish the opportunity to be a
Absolutely.
ball carrier and potentially may claim that he ran over Josh Balela. We'll say it's 6 and 2 threes on that one.
1st and 10 for Merseyside. The Titans' defense has been causing havoc all day long, particularly the defensive line, particularly the linebackers. Just been a real menace all day long. Cade Macon at defensive tackle has made some noise. And it's just been a team effort completely. I was looking to see if there's a couple other players that have checked in as well.
Yeah, not the most exciting game to be a safety in this one, is it?
No. Oh, wow. What a tackle.
There he is, Cade Macon.
Look at that. That is just ripping right through an offensive line. He looked angry.
I'm not sure how many drives or plays that Cade has been on this game. I think that, Cade is a veteran of the game, and not to say that he's, getting towards the end, but he's been playing the game for a good while now, and perhaps his age is a little more towards the back end, so it's perhaps reasonable to expect that George Foster would be sensible with Cade, showing why he is a consistently selected GB player there, fired off the edge.
That was a really nice way to call somebody old. You did that really nicely.
Cade is old.
Merseyside sets up 2nd and 15. They give. Oh, and another great effort there put in by the Titans as that one's chopped down very quickly. I believe that was Derek Florence who was there. 7. What a nice little play there to get in real quick.
Yeah. Showing blitz off the edge. Could have, I think, could have disguised ever so slightly better, but I suppose with an inexperienced quarterback. And, well, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He blitzed in the backfield, got the running back in the backfield, loss of yards, brings up 3rd and a mile.
I have to say, the Titans, when they blitz, because they don't do it all the time, but when they do, it tends to work. They come real hard. Let's see what the Titans want to do here on defense if they want to blitz. But there was 2 movements there. Defensive lineman went over, but that's okay if he gets back. But then that caused the left tackle to jump, and I think that is going to be a false start.
Yeah, if that is a false start, then yeah, look, Merseyside are celebrating. Smart play from the Merseyside left tackle. I think that is. Don't have a number for 60. Oh, I know who that'll be. That might be Michael French.
He's wearing 97 today, if it is.
French and Swedish ancestry.
Wow.
For those who know.
If you know, you know.
And if it's not Michael French, you owe me one.
Merseyside, 3rd and 13. Linebacker for the Titans jumps. Then they go right into that hole. No room available over there on the right side. And that'll bring up 4th down. Gain of 0.
Nice play by Joe Aduli. He's playing defensive end on this left-hand side, bottom of the screen. Holds up his defensive lineman. Waits for the running back to pick the hole. Sheds the defensive lineman. Makes the tackle in the hole. Can't really ask for much better than that from... defensive line play.
Yeah, everybody on the Titans, I think. I mean, this will be a good week to go over film for coaches because you get to say a lot of positive things about your players, which you don't always get to do.
No, but if I know George Foster, James Dean, and Alex Challens, they'll not spend much time focusing on the positives.
Nothing to learn there. All right, you already did it. Weird formation here from the Titans to receive the punt. They got 2 at a linebacker spot, 1 in the middle, and then 2 deeper than that. But they set up really well. They knew exactly what was coming and collected, but not much of a return. Oh, they go with the pitch. Oh, my goodness, what a play. And now it's turned into quite a foot race. Can he turn it into something special? Not quite the end zone, but what a play from the Titans as they go full rugby.
Sam Wilson, Charlie Escott, lovely. What a way to make some fun there.
He was about to
risky.
Go down.
I'm sure George Foster will watch that one back and say it worked this time. Let's be sensible, but very, very nice. Very much enjoyed that.
Coaches found something to complain about on film. There we go.
Absolutely. We need something, right? I might go down at half time and tell some of the Titans players to cause some problems so they've got some stuff to review on tape.
I do think that they're as the game evolves a little bit, I do think that might be something that comes into it. I know it's risky, but in that kind of situation, you had 2 Titans there. You kind of really mitigated what it was going to be. But now they go to the air looking for 6 over the middle. No! Flags on the field. I think it's probably going to be a pass interference as the flags came from the back judge. Maybe a defensive hold. But really close there for Christian Dean, number 15 at the bottom of the screen. Can't quite make the catch in the middle of the field.
Yeah, Alex Ross, the cat in the hat, unable to deliver the ball to Christian Dean. Unsure what the penalty is, but it looks like it's on Merseyside.
Yeah, I think it was a defensive hold. I think the linebacker maybe just got a hold of him. Maybe encroachment. But the flags came from the back judge, so I didn't see what the white hat signaled. But it's 5 yards for the Titans as they go back to work now on 1st and 5. Looking sideline, Dean hits the defender in the helmet and falls incomplete.
Well, at least we know what's on Ryan Gill's mind, number 83. He is not interested in the ball, and he is looking for Christian Dean all the way.
It was a good play there, though. I mean, he was in the right place at the right time.
As they move Christian Dean, number 15, to the top of the screen.
Mm-hmm. Alex Ross just a smidge underthrown on that one. Back shoulder, but just couldn't quite, need a little bit more on it. Now, second down. They go play action. Sitting in the hole. Nice catch. Works upfield. Broken tackle. 2, 3, 4. Looking for a touchdown. He's got it. What a play from Charlie Escott. 5 broken tackles on the way to the end zone.
Defensive backs and defensive back coaches, listen up. If you are starting your practice with your DBs by picking up a football instead of a tackle bag, you're doing it wrong.
That was an incredible individual effort there from Escott. Nice little play there, good timing, just sits down in the hole, but if you can't make that first tackle, then the second one, it turns into a real big problem.
Yeah, and Charlie Escott's familiar with this kind of level and stage, played at University of Nottingham Gold, along with some of the best players in the country during Nottingham's, runs at the championships against the UWE Bullets, so very familiar with making big plays in big moments.
That brings it to 58-0 for the Titans, as their offense just can't be stopped today. They've showed over and over again, and it's not, just one way. They've ran, they've passed, they've ran screens, they've gone downfield. Anything they want to try today has worked, but not, blown coverages and being wide open. It's really athletic plays by really athletic players.
Yeah, and again, to stress, the Merseyside Nighthawks may be short on numbers, but the calibre of player that they have here are not so low that this performance is to be expected, every single time. They do have guys who have played in the Premiership. They have guys who've been involved with the Great Britain programme. The coaching staff, they have guys who have played at a high level, coached at a high level. So Titans really teeing off here. Yes, there will be a war of attrition going on for the Merseyside Nighthawks, but, as you're filtering through those development players, yes, you're getting fresh legs on, but there's still an element of impressive skill on show.
Winkowski, with the big boot this time, decides to get rid of that squib stuff and just show off his leg and boots it out the back of the end zone. Touchback. We don't have the time up here. It's tough with the officials keeping the time on the field. I think we've been late in the second quarter for quite a while, but the Titans' offense scores so quickly when they got the ball. They're just piling up the points so fast.
Yeah, really efficient. And, Alex Challens, I don't know if he had an earpiece listening to me when I was talking pre-game today about maybe not getting scores on the board early on, but he certainly shut me up today, hasn't he?
They've looked really sharp, really sharp. I mean, I watched them against EKP about a month ago, and they did not look this sharp. This is a team trending upwards at the right time of the season.
Yeah, and to quote former head coach John Homer, you've got to be your best at the right time.
6 linemen for the Titans, as they'd really try to clog up that line of scrimmage. Nighthawks try to go back to the middle, no gain, driven backwards, brings up second down. They are going to give him a yard. Second 9.
And you know what? This late in the game, with the scoreline what it is, as tired as they are, to see players like George Banya, number 77 for the Merseyside Nighthawks, coming in late, trying to drive that pile for what? A yard? Yep. 2 yards? That is impressive resilience. So let's hope that we see some more of that in the second half. And whilst I appreciate the Titans have been teeing off here, there will be some life left in the Merseyside Nighthawks, and they'll want to put on a good display in the second half.
65-0 is your score. That brings up to halftime. We're going to step away, and we'll be back for the second half. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll have some more touchdowns to bring you on the other side. 65-0 to the Titans. Hello and welcome back to Manchester. It has been all Titans in this one against the Merseyside Nighthawks, and the Titans will get the ball to start the second half. Just to recap, before I bring Sam Bloomfield back in, there was 9 touchdowns in the first half. You heard me right. And we had Brad Temple on the first one, Brad Temple on the second one, Sam Wilson, Matt Wilson, Herminio Menga, Matt Wilson again, Menga, and Charlie Escott. That is a lot of touchdowns, and the fireworks were certainly on display, but they were being set up by such great defense. Sam, what do you make of that first half?
Yeah, just a clinic, really, by Manchester. You know, obviously, Merseyside have come with low numbers. Manchester have their, usual large setup. But, there's encouraging signs of life from Merseyside, even right towards the end of the first half. So what I'm looking for really is Manchester are going to want their depth guys to come in and to execute to a high level. And I'm looking to see that continued fight from Merseyside. And, part of me thinks, will we see Merseyside just essentially try to, steer the course and just not give up too much offensively? Part of me thinks they might try and get funky and see what they can do. Latter certainly sounds more exciting, but with a defensive lineman playing quarterback for Merseyside, we'll see what they can muster up. I'm expecting Alex Ross to make the best of his opportunity at quarterback for Manchester and start working through some of those depth receivers. And we're at 64, 65. 64 nothing so far. Manchester are not going to be concerned about people's feelings, and they are going to try and, essentially score as much as they can, as often as they can, and as early as they can. They'll be sat there thinking, can we beat, I think in 2021, Manchester played Lancashire Wolverines during the COVID season and put up a score of 88-0. People from this roster were part of that team, and I imagine that they'll be thinking, I wonder if we could do more. But they're fighting against the clock. Manchester, because they've scored, well, a little bit more than 35, but they're going to start the second half, and it's going to be a rolling clock. So there'll be no stoppages other than timeouts, which I'm not sure either team would really feel the need to call.
Let's mix in a few of the other highlights. Maybe aren't touchdowns. I mean, we had a successful onside kick that was darn near picture perfect from Winkowski. There was a punt return that was wild that nearly went for a touchdown, which is something you don't see very often, where he kind of batted it down and was able to advance the ball. They've been looking good everywhere. And now you're right. It is about seeing what that second level, third level, fourth level of your roster can do. Can they keep upholding what the first couple of squadrons have been able to do?
Yeah, and the players who are coming in will be very hungry to make their mark because, the Titans have a game day roster. Not everybody who practices for the Manchester Titans, kits up on game day. So people will be trying to stake their claim to a spot so that by the time, the playoffs roll around, they're stood in kit on this sideline, or, by the time they reach the Brit Bowl final, they're able to stand on that sideline or participate and contribute. Everybody here for Manchester is going to be trying to stake their claim. So I'd expect to see just the same aggression and ferocity to make an impact from the Titans players that we see in the second half.
Teams have finally made their way out. A bit of an extended halftime today, I think, because of the heat. It is pretty warm down there. Oh, there's a medical delay we're hearing of some kind. But we're ready to go now. Merseyside will be kicking off to the Titans, who will be looking to put more points up on the board quickly. First Merseyside kickoff of the day goes over the head of the returner into the end zone for a touchback, and off we go. We'll see who comes out for the Titans. I can't anticipate we'll be seeing too many starters, maybe some along the offensive line, but a lot of the skilled players will be being rotated.
Yeah, looks like a few of the Titans starters offensively are still in. I see Nathan Jukes in the backfield. Looks like Owen Smith is in at right tackle. It might be that Titans only carry a certain number of offensive linemen for their game day squad, and so therefore, they're just trying to keep them all fresh and rotate through. But receiver-wise, we're seeing some new faces here.
I think we still have Christian Dean, number 15, at the bottom of your screen. Can't stop saying it. But here we go with Jukes, up the middle. First play of the second half. Takes it for a gain of 4. Right off the inside zone. Keep things nice and simple as they start off here. Clock will be running the whole of the second half. Runs, passes, incompletions, anything except for a timeout. So this half will go much quicker. But I imagine that the Titans will want to get quite a few snaps in. Look for them to work a little bit quicker offensively. Alex Ross puts his man in motion. That's BK. And now he goes back to Jukes underneath. Finds space. Wants to turn the Jets. He's got 2 men out in front of him. He's going to rumble them both over. Takes that for a gain of about 17, just over midfield, looking strong.
Yeah, flag on the play. Might have caught Connor Greenhalgh with a holding penalty there. Not sure. See what the referee has.
It is a hold, and I have to say that it seems almost weird because it was such a clean first half. There was not, was there any? There was a couple of false starts, but nothing like that. No holds. And that one sets the Titans back. They'll have to go back to the original line of scrimmage, and that will bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and Jukes turned on the Jets there. He got to the edge, and comically, it almost looked like he was surprised to be out there in such space, and then just hit the gas.
Greenhalgh in motion, goes on the orbit. They go back to the middle. Jukes looks for room, stiff arms, puts his weight through, and he rumbles ahead. That's going to be a gain of 16. He's like clockwork on that carry. You can almost put him down for 12 to 15, darn near every time he gets through the middle there.
Yeah, 3 defenders draping all over the back of Jukes. Again, a reminder to defensive backs and defensive back coaches: pick up the tackle bags, put the footballs down. You're playing defensive back because you can't catch the ball, so start making tackles.
That's what you're there for. Ross goes to pass now. He looks deep. Wants BK. Can he come back to get it? He cannot. That was a heck of an effort for him to come back. A little bit of contact there at the top of the route. He tried to come back to the ball and just couldn't hang on.
I'm really surprised that there was no pass interference penalty called there, as BK and Lovu has come back for the football. He's been dragged. Admittedly, the defender has let him go, but in terms of interfering with the attempt to catch the ball, it was pretty evident to me. But maybe a bang-bang play.
I think they give a little bit more leniency on underthrown balls like that because everybody has to kind of adjust to something very quickly. But it'll be 2nd down here. They haven't moved the marker on the other side of the field, but it is going to be 2nd down. And let's see what the Titans want to do out of the spread.
New running back in the game for the Titans, Matthew Osborne, making his Titans debut.
Merseyside creeps, shows blitz. Running back can't quite get away. Nice job there out on the far side of the defensive line for Merseyside. Trying to see if we can get you a number on the tackle. I couldn't see who that was, but it was a nice play out there. I think it was Dan Cleary playing linebacker who came up to make that one.
Looked like Owen Smith was pulling from right tackle to the left-hand side, and maybe Osborne could have used a little bit of patience there. And
Merseyside late to react to the trips. And they want to roll this way. Titans roll. Looks for a man. Comes back underneath. Nearly picked off with the late decision. And that one's going to be frustrating for Merseyside. Really thought they had one. I'm not sure who that was that broke that up. Not on our roster.
Yeah, quarterback Alex Ross, as we see the punt unit come out for the first time for the Titans today. Don't be surprised to see something tricky here. Alex Ross, quarterback, he's got David Adebo in the flat, but, getting a little bit greedy, which is something that a lot of, Alex Ross is not inexperienced by any means, but a lot of younger quarterbacks, perhaps are looking for that deeper throw, that deeper pass, and if he just offloads that ball to David Adebo in the flat, you've got the potential to make something happen there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think if you put yourself in the quarterback's mind, it's 3rd and 10. You think you need all those yards through the air. Ooh, they go with the fake. Can he turn it north-south? He's got blockers out in front of him. Makes a man miss. Yes, he's got the first down. Big momentum play from the punt team. Lenkowski with the carry of 20 or so and a first down.
It's classic Alex Lenkowski, Said before the play, do not be surprised by any means. They're going to stay aggressive. And listen, the Merseyside Nighthawks are very familiar with the Manchester Titans. Anybody who has any experience here from the Nighthawks knows this quite well could be a fake, especially with the ball position as it is. So disappointing for the Nighthawks to not make a tackle there. They had a chance, I think.
Would have been their first stop of the day had they been able to come up with it, but it is now a first down for the Titans. Jukes checks back in at running back. Dean to the bottom of the screen, trips to the top. They go Jukes, they go middle. He breaks a tackle, 2 tackles, 3 tackles. Can they bring him down? No! He's gonna go! Touchdown, Jukes!
Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Very nice.
That was incredible. That first broken tackle, I'm like, okay. He kind of went around the legs, and then the rest he just carried in. And now the Titans with a bit of a, they're going to get the flag in the end zone because they did a team celebration around Jukes. And I think they're going to be all right with taking that one.
Yeah, Jukes will be happy there. Great individual play after the O-line have created that gap, as they have been doing all day. And just guys draping off him. Photographers in the end zone. He'll have some lovely new Instagram posts there.
There's a really nice picture I hope the still photographer got near the back where there's about 7 different Nighthawks around Jukes and he's still going forward.
Yeah.
That was amazing. They will have to walk off the penalty here. 15 yards will probably be assessed on the kickoff. Yeah, get the unsportsmanlike call. And you know what? I think that's okay. They weren't directing it at Merseyside at all. It was very much their own little huddle, but that is the rule. So that will be assessed on the kickoff.
Yeah, Alex Challens is perhaps a little bit of a calmer presence than former offensive coordinator Luke Carlton was. I say perhaps lightly. But when we got to this point in the game, and again, especially against your rival Merseyside, Luke Carlton always gave us permission. If we got to a certain scoreline, we could do some organised fun.
Ross in the gun. He's got trips to the top. He rolls right. He goes for that little underneath. He's got him. Toe tap. No! Toes on the line. Couldn't keep him in. They went for that same little 2-point play that they like, the little whip out underneath with the roll. And he couldn't quite keep the toes in. That was close.
That is a shame because that is a lovely touch pass. I do think Ross could have probably released that slightly earlier or got a little bit more loop. But as we mentioned earlier, throwing an out, especially to the field, is always tough to complete.
Yeah, he maybe had him a smidge earlier. It was really close.
Really close, yeah. Bang, bang play. I think if the official watched it back, they could, potentially change their mind. But very, very close, very tight. I understand the decision to call it out.
But another touchdown for the Titans. That brings the score to 70-0. Sort of the first thing that's gone against the Titans today, if you can say so, that failed 2-point conversion. They nearly had to punt on that drive. A 20-yard gain by Alex Lenkowski off the fake punt where he just took it off the right-hand side, kept the drive going. And the punt team hasn't had to work too hard today.
Yeah, so curious to see what we get from the Merseyside offense here. That is assuming that Manchester don't, go tricky or onside here and recover this football. And, Manchester do not care if Merseyside are expecting an onside here. They'll do it and just say, we're going to put our best guys against your guys and see what we can do here. So, but we'll see if they elect to push them deep.
They are kicking from their own 15 following the personal foul, so they'll go ahead and hoof this one deep. Hits at about the 30 and picked up. Ooh, a big collision right there at the 40-yard line and brought down. I believe that was a Pacama on the return.
That, believe it or not, was actually offensive and defensive lineman George Banya.
Was it Banya?
Who took that, yes.
Getting one in before the end of the season.
Tackled by Fraser Galloway. When you see an enormous presence running at you like that, there is one sensible choice to make, and it is to dive straight at the shins. Fraser Galloway just about clips him and gets enough.
Good field position here for Merseyside. Starting right around midfield. Defensive player turned quarterback Tom Hine stays in at quarterback. Been a tough day for the Merseyside offense, unable to really move the ball through the air. And now the Titans want to blitz. They go up the middle. That one, it's going to go for about a gain of 2. Titans defense stays strong through the middle.
Yeah, same old from Merseyside as has been the story this game. Think they're waiting until the clock gets down to around 10 seconds until they snap the ball. Just trying to waste as much time as possible, get out of this game hopefully unscathed.
And the running clock especially shows it more during like after touchdowns and things like that, because you lose a couple of minutes in real time just getting to the next ball being kicked. And so this will be quite the short second half. Titans really heavy along the defensive line. Let's see what the Merseyside wants to do. D-backs backed off. The Titans show blitz. Read option. Hine keeps it. Scampers. Middle. Can he go? He's going to be chased out by the D-backs, but can't quite make it down to the 11-yard line. Merseyside's best play of the day. Goes for 30.
That's more like it. Tom Hine facing straight towards the Titans sideline, arm up in the air, letting them know. And now he's doing a griddy. I think that's a couple of years old, but we'll give him a break. We'll give him a break because that was a lovely run and a lovely play fake. All the Titans converged on the running back, giving Hine all that space.
Great run from Hine. Ran the read option to darn near perfection and breaks it just outside of the Titans' 10. And now let's see what they want to do. Can they get in the end zone? They'll be feeling quite hyped after that one after a tough first half. Titans load up on the D-line again. I think I see 6 linemen in there. Titans jump offside. Hine's going to be taken down behind the line of scrimmage, but I believe that one's going to be march forward 5. One of the D tackles on the inside looked a little anxious.
Yeah, I'm unsure why they didn't let that play continue and then take the 5-yard penalty because the defender was trying to get back.
Yeah. When I was playing offense, I always quite liked when a defensive line went to 6 down, because that meant that if you can crack that first line, there's not a whole lot behind it. And that kind of burned the Titans on that long run because, once Hine was able to turn the corner, there's one less linebacker there, one less D-back to help you out in that situation.
Yeah, and often schematically, an offensive line will leave at least one of those defensive linemen so you can climb up to the second level and reach that linebacker. Essentially, if you can, like you said, break through that first line of defense, there's really not much behind.
1st and 5 for Merseyside. They try to go middle. No, Hine keeps it, goes on the follow. Dives forward for a couple. I'm not sure. I think they gave him maybe no gain on that one. Maybe a gain of 1. Brings up 2nd down.
I would expect Merseyside to... Will they ride the hot hand and just continue to try and run Tom Hine, or will they try anything and everything within their power to make this happen? Now, it's interesting. In pre-game, I was down on the field, and I saw somebody practicing for Merseyside holding the football, but they asked the coach, which side do I stand on? So if they get to 4th down here, I would expect a kick because it takes away the 0. But we'll see if they can execute that field goal.
Hine goes middle. That's going to be eaten up by the Titans right away. D tackles working in the middle. That's Robin Pyre there first. Now some pushing and shoving after the play.
Flag on the play. Scott Tomlinson involved. Uncharacteristic, I say sarcastically, involved in that. We'll see who the penalty is on. I think Scott may be coming off as a bit of a punishment, a slap on the wrist.
Akinen comes back on, and you always see that. I really like seeing that when somebody does draw a personal. It doesn't mean that their day's over or whatever, but as soon as you get somebody out on that field running that quick, it means somebody's coming to the sideline to get chewed out.
Yeah, yeah. And in this situation here, the Titans genuinely will be very unhappy if they concede any points. So I can see head coach and defensive coordinator for the Titans being pretty unhappy if this goes against the Titans, because it puts Mersey in a strong position to,
First down, first and goal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen for what the referee says as they short this out. Definitely an unsportsmanlike on Manchester. And it looks like we also have offsetting against Merseyside as well. And that will either replay the down or I think they'll replay his post-snap. Offset, redo the down? Yeah.
Offset, it was
after the play, so it's third down. Yeah, so they'll take the result of the play, loss of a couple, and it brings up 3rd and 8 for Merseyside. No harm done. I'd love to see them try a little pass.
I would.
I think
that would be very fun.
It seems like the right time. Maybe a little pop pass over the middle off the mesh. It's just something to there's just so much space behind the linebackers.
Yeah, and with the way that things have gone so far, it has mostly been tackles for a loss for Manchester.
Yeah.
So you're in field goal range here. Don't get yourself pushed back further.
They do go to the air. They go looking for the fade. Not close, though. That falls incomplete. Good defense there out from the D-backs. Locked down. Not sure. That was the nickelback who was really putting on quite a bit of pressure there. I think that might have been... Who is that? 20? I can't read that number from here. Is that 28?
On the top of the screen?
Yeah, it's 20 maybe?
That's number 20, yes.
DK.
That's DK.
Yeah. Really good hands-on pressure there all the way through that route. But let's see what they're going to do on 4th down. It is going to be the offense.
Offensive play. Surprising, honestly, but maybe this is out of the range of a kicker.
Let's see what they want to do. Big 4th down here for Merseyside. Trying to put points on the board. Low snap. Handled. Tries to make a man miss, but can't get out of there. Good play by the Titans defense. Hine goes down. Turnover.
Fraser Galloway coming in late in this game and making an impact. Very, very impressive young player. And just really enjoying following his career. Following it closely at Lancashire, working with the staff that we've got there. But, I genuinely sit and think about what's in the future for Fraser Galloway. And I think that if he, continues to take football very seriously, he's such a fluid, flexible player. Comes up big there and has made a good few plays earlier on this game as well.
Well, if you've caught Titans fever, don't forget that the Titans have a range of merchandise for you this season. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, game day accessories, everything you need to get that Titans style. You can pick up the Titans memorabilia, decorative helmets, and jerseys from previous seasons. Just go for the website. And that's a 1st down play. Didn't work.
In and out of the hands of BK and Lovu. Looks like he's caught his ankle there, so see who the Titans... Matt Wilson tried to go on, but I think Alex Challens, offensive coordinator, said, hold up, Matt, you've had your chance. We're going to bring on Dominic Lewis, who's also making his Manchester Titans debut. I believe, if I heard correctly, that he has previously played with the Glasgow Tigers. I'm not sure if that's the university team or the adult contact team, but we've got BK and Lovu down on the field at the minute. I think twisted his ankle and been encouraged to take a knee there.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter as well as team switch ends. Quick 3rd quarter due to the running clock. Let's get some sponsor reads in. We'd like to thank our sponsor, the Brotherhood of Pursuits and Pastimes, our favorite sports bar in town. Thank you to the Brotherhood for supporting the Manchester Titans. We'd also like to give thanks to Creating Food Media Rights. Thank you for your support. And we've partnered with Muscle Food. You can use the code BUILD-TITANS at checkout, and the Titans receive 10% of the order value that directly supports our fundraising efforts. That's BUILD-TITANS at Muscle Food. 70-0 your score. Start of the 4th quarter. Titans dominating today and have just continued to all day long, and now it's up to see how they can finish this one out with some backups on the field.
Yeah, BK and Lovu exits the field under his own power, so that's good to see. Got 2nd down and 10. See what offense coordinator Alex Challenge dials up for Alex Ross.
Escott, bottom of the screen. They go up the middle. Met by a couple of different Nighthawks and brought down for a game of 2. Saw Francisco Rodriguez, longtime Nighthawk, making the tackle there. And not to be undersold, but Hine is also still in at defensive end.
Yeah, not surprising at all.
That is a pretty incredible effort to play a physical. Now, not even dropping back to safety or something like that. That's well done. Spread for Titans on 3rd down. 3rd and one of their longest today. 3rd about 7. They go to the air. Roll out. Back over the middle. That's caught near a 1st down. I think you got it. That was a great effort to reach out and make that play. 1st downs for the Titans. Keep the chains rolling. Who was that on the reception? Was that Christian Dean at top of the screen?
Yeah. Better from Alex Ross there. You know, he does have the option at the top of the screen that's a bit deeper, but he's recognised that Christian is open early, and he's hit him, as early as he realistically can. This resulted in a 1st down. So more of that from Alex Ross, and we'll see a bit more fruitful play.
Really quite a wide spread to the near side. The receivers for the Titans have really spread this side of the field out, 2 over 2. Ross gives middle again. Room to run. Oh, he's off. Can he turn the corner? He does. Oh, he's tripped up by the turf monster. Explosive run there and just couldn't keep his feet.
Matthew Osborne in his Titans debut saw the light at the end of his path. Bit too much.
Oh,
bit too much this time. But they'll go back to him.
Had such a forward lean on to try to turn that corner, and it just got the shoulders over the toes. Great run, though. Gain of about 25 on the play. Titans 1st down, 37-yard line. Clock running. They go middle again. More room. Ooh, but thrown back after a gain of about 5. Late flag comes in. That one came from the white hat a very long way away. Sort of right around the area of the tackle. Possibly a face mask. Osborne's looking good back there at running back.
Yeah.
He's quick player.
And those splits you mentioned from the face mask, you were right. Those splits you mentioned from the Manchester Titans, that is by design. The idea is, especially against a team playing cover 3, which I think actually they might have moved to man coverage, but the idea is that you create a conflict for the defender who plays in the nickel or over the slot receivers, so that they can only choose to play pass or run. But it looks here, David Adebo, number 19 at the bottom of the screen, is probably playing some smart splits.
Titans put a man in motion. Now they go to him. That's not quite going to go. Dean tried to turn the corner. Didn't quite have the blocking out in front of him, but that's good for about 8. They use him in a lot of different ways, Dean. They run him on the motions. They put him over the middle of the field. He's had some catches near the sideline as well. That finds a way to make himself seen a lot.
Yeah, Dean is a Manchester Titans under-19s graduate. He also plays at the Lancashire Rams, and he was previously part of the GB under-19s program. Very flexible. He gets used in the backfield as an up-back, as a tight end, as a wing, as a wide-out, as a slot. Really, really flexible player.
A couple of changes on the offensive line for Ross. Now they try to go underneath to the counter. Can't get away. That one's going to be eaten up. I think there may have been some miscommunication on the line. Looked uncharacteristic from the Titans today. I just didn't seem to have the blocking where the play was designed to go.
Yeah. Close. Osborne was close to getting away there, but in the grasp of Tom Hine, quarterback, playing defensive line.
He'll be happy with that.
Absolutely. Well earned as well. Well earned, Tom.
So 3rd and long again for the Titans. 3rd and 9. They're going to try to deal with this out of trips. Take a look to the sideline. Couple of hand signals. And now the Titans want to go. Oh, maybe a play action. Now he wants to go deep. Got a man in the corner. Touchdown! There he is again, Christian Dean. I'm not sure he was the right intended receiver, but he found himself under the ball, reached up, made a play.
Some kind of miscommunication in the backfield there, but Alex Ross says, oh, screw it, I'll do it myself.
Chuck it.
Throws it up. Christian Dean's down there somewhere, and again, showing his versatility. Getting orbital swings out the backfield, catching screens, and then going deep and hauling it in the back corner of the end zone.
And able to keep the toes down. That wasn't an easy catch to make. Made it look quite easy, though.
Yeah, when the ball is in the air for so long, you have so much to think about. You can really get distracted, but yeah, good focus where you track the ball.
Lenkowski stays perfect on the day, punches another one through. That brings us to 77-0 here in the 4th quarter. Titans continue to dominate on offense. They, the second and third string has come in. They've looked good. Ross hasn't been able to run the offense effectively, and Titans keep marching.
Yeah, and a reminder that with this rolling clock, it might be that the drive that Merseyside put together here could end up being the last of the game, even though it feels so much shorter than the first half. That's just the nature of the rolling clock. So with time ticking down, Manchester may not get another chance to get the offense out on the field. So we'll see what special teams coordinator and head coach George Foster dial up here. They might just decide to boot the ball deep to seemingly return specialist number 77, George Banya now, offensive and defensive lineman.
Now, tell me what this means. Lenkowski came out onto the field a bit late and moved everybody to the left hash to kick, where they've normally been kicking it out of the middle. Does that indicate anything?
It absolutely could. Sometimes they will try to... So they have a package of kicks. And Lenkowski will work on many different things. It could be, high in an attempt to get the recovery high. It could be that he, it's just about the coverage.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see what they want to do. They do go deep. Tough look into the sun, and that one's going to be let roll. That just tells you about Dean's touchdown catch down in that same corner. He would have had the sun in his eyes as well. And as that returner went to go try to see it, Alex Suzuki, he had to put his eyes up and couldn't see it. So more credit to Christian Dean on that touchdown.
Absolutely. Yeah, tough to bring those in. And, Lenkowski does work on the spin of the ball as well. So they're not always sort of your routine kick. When you get a kicking specialist, they are working constantly on all aspects of that kick or that punt. And, it really is... I didn't probably appreciate it before I worked with Aaron Bocott and with, former Titans kicker Aaron Bocott and with Alex Lenkowski, just how much goes into it.
Mm. How long has Lenkowski been here? I mean, to be a kicking specialist is such an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, well, Lenkowski was actually formerly of the Tamworth Phoenix, so he was with them during their championship year and their dominant run. And Alex Lenkowski, joined the Titans in 2023, I believe, when Bocott and Lenkowski were both here together, sharing the kicking reps. And, surprisingly, it's like having two top quarterbacks in the same room. You kind of expect there to be tension there, but Lenkowski and Bocott, from all things that I've heard and seen, got on really well, and I think I heard it was one of their most enjoyable seasons they've played, really, because you just have that guy to bounce off.
Yeah, that's really nice. There is a change in quarterback here for Merseyside near the end of the game. It is second down. It's number 6, but I don't have a number 6 on the roster.
No, and I don't think that's Alex Suzuki either. I recognize Suzuki and don't think that's him.
So apologies, but we're going to have to refer to him as quarterback number 5. They do go up the middle. Titans swallow that one up. No gain.
Yeah, Sam Jones, former Titans running back, in on that tackle, along with a host of other Titans. we've got Merseyside player down.
Yeah, it was the running back on that last play.
Yeah, just
Took
tapped,
quite a lick.
just tapped his left shoulder there, being seen to by the medics. So, Titans' remaining schedule.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up, actually. Nottingham.
Nottingham, yeah.
To end the season.
And I should probably know this, but is that the only remaining
Last
game for the
remaining home
Titans?
game,
Yeah.
yep.
So they'll
Next
play
week.
Nottingham next week. I think it's a late kickoff.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
around
6
o'clock.
yeah.
6 o'clock kickoff next week against Nottingham Caesars, who have had an up and down time in the Premiership. Really, there's been some highlights. I think there's been a lot of struggle after really being very impressive for a number of years in Division 1. They finally made their way up to the Premiership, and then, I think there was some retirements. They did have a good recruitment drive, but ultimately, I think they haven't just quite found that swing, and they'll be looking to finish the season off on a high.
That's Zimejewski, who's down for Merseyside. And you're right about the Caesars, because they were a team that was trending upward. But I think the one thing that I've noticed, because you see it a lot, this yo-yo between teams that just sort of go to Div 1 and come back down. And I think the big thing is if you can hold on for 1 year, to learn and understand, okay, this is what we have to do here, rather than to be sent back to Div 1 and then probably be a lot better than those teams. If you can stick around for a year, that usually has that massive impact. And with Merseyside getting the relegation after this loss, they'll be able to do that.
Yeah, and I think that to a certain extent, a lot of guys they make that jump. They get up to the Premiership, and then you have a lot of your veteran players who will retire or move on and stop playing the sport. Essentially, their perspective is, well, we achieved what we set out to achieve. We got there, and now it's down to the rest of you guys. But that can be really damaging towards a team, and you end up seeing what you've seen with Merseyside here, and potentially, I don't know for sure, but potentially what you've seen with Nottingham.
So now, quarterback number 6, sorry, we don't know his name, runs the read option. Can't get away, though. That's going to be swallowed up outside by the corner. And the nickel, nice tackle from the Titans, staying aware on the outside. Brings up 3rd down. Good chase there from the Titans. They strung that play out well. There was really nowhere to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the corner was. Number 25 is... Oh, it's Johnny O'Marl. Johnny O'Marl and the chase from the defensive lineman, Joe Adooley, ended up double teaming on that tackle. I thought quarterback number 6 was in a bit of a bother there, but he ended up getting up, thankfully, as we see Nick Mitchelson back to punt.
4th down, 3 receivers back for the punt for the Titans.
Yeah, we'll see if there's some trickery here from the Titans. They had a lateral on their last punt return, and Charlie Escott almost took it the whole way after a pitch from Sam Wilson. But we've got Dan Ward, Charlie Escott, and Matt Wilson back to return.
It's a formidable crew back there. Punts away, low line drive, and I think that's why they put that up back there. They go lateral again. Do they want to do it again? No, he keeps it, but he's got room to run. Wilson searching, and he's going to be taken down. Good tackle out there along the near side by Adam Bowles, and the Titans will get one more drive.
Yeah, there'll be... I'm not sure if we've had the 2-minute warning yet. I've certainly not seen a notification of it, so a little bit more time left than I anticipated. But we'll see how desperate, Alex Challen's offensive coordinator is to get another score on the board. It might be that they're quite content with a 77-0 victory. But again, there's no love lost in this contest, regardless of what the scoreline currently is. The Titans will want to continue to assert dominance over Merseyside. And as we see, no safeties. So I would expect Alex Challenge to be aggressive.
Dominic Lewis out here at the near side making his Titans debut, but they go run near side. Can't find a lot of room. Merseyside swallowed that one up pretty well. But that's Osborne for a gain of 3. 2nd and 7, and you're right, but I've noticed this no safeties thing. The Titans have, Nighthawks have sort of abandoned the pass defense as well, almost daring Manchester to throw the ball.
Yeah, and maybe Manchester are content just running this clock down, but that
It is so tempting. when you
it's
look at
very tempting.
it. Ross in the shotgun goes middle. Osborne makes a cut, fights off a couple of tackles, drags the pile forward, making a first down for himself. There was first contact right about the line of scrimmage, and he did the rest pretty much on his own.
Yeah, and as the head coach of a team or the offensive coordinator of a team, that is exactly what you want to see late on in the game. When the guys who are making their Titans debut or who don't see a lot of game time in tight contested fixtures, that's what you want to see, is that drive and that effort, because you know that in the tight games they're going to give you that as well.
Little hand signal here. I would look to see something deep to Lewis maybe. They go read option. Ross on his own can't quite get out of the way, and it's stripped. Ball's on the floor. Recovered by the Titans. As he tried to fight for a few extra yards, that ball got stripped out. But a heads-up play by the Titans' offensive line.
Interesting decision. I understand what they're going for here. It's so unlikely that they're going to run Alex Ross that it might just work, but perhaps getting a bit cute.
Like
there.
Peyton Manning that one time.
Only that was extremely successful, wasn't it? And who doesn't love... As a Patriots fan, even I love to see that.
Second and... let's call it 14 for the Titans. Ross with 3 receivers to the top of the screen. Decent rush, but they give up the middle. Ooh, a lot of room to run for Osborne. A cut, a juke, but can't quite get out of there. Good run, though, for about a gain of 9. Sets up a manageable third down, 3rd and 6.
I'm enjoying watching Osborne run. He is lightning in a bottle, but needs to figure out his contact balance. There's a lot of... very fast jukes and cuts. I love it. There's so much potential to work with there. His legs are a bit Bambi-like.
Ross back to pass. Now he has to roll. There's pressure up the middle, and then they get home. Nighthawks with the sack. I believe... I'm trying to find... There's some people that are just not on the roster here. That was 67 who made the sack, and I don't see one listed. But a good play there. Way to stick with it.
I think that 67 is Michael French. Because he moonlights as an offensive lineman, he's usually in 97, but they'll have put him in 67, so he's in an eligible number.
4th and a mile. We'll call it 4th and about 17, and the Titans offense stays out in the field. Ross looks near side. He's got a man, and that's going to be the easiest touchdown he's going to score. Straight down the sideline. Dominic Lewis, 6 more.
Really nice ball from Alex Ross. Honestly, this is what I was hoping for early on in this drive. You've got a receiver one-on-one with no safety help. It's been working all day. Give Alex and give your debut receiver, Dominic Lewis, give him a chance. I understand being respectful. It's not what I'm used to from the Titans, especially against Merseyside. You give your guys the chance and you just keep your foot on the throat and keep going. But, really nice to see that for especially someone making their Titans debut.
It's been a tough day over there for Spencer Moss Rathborne, the cornerback. It's just a lot of athleticism to deal with over there on the edge.
Yeah, and a lot of fresh legs too. Rathbone is also playing receiver for them, and admittedly, they're not running a lot of pass plays, so he's not running deep routes down the side. But as we get, I think, the final call from the referee here.
Before they can kick the extra point, time runs out, and that is going to be the end of your ball game today. With the last touchdown, that brings it to 83-0 before they could get the kickoff, and that is a win. That is a statement win.
A statement win, and Titans will be looking to roll that momentum into next week against the Nottingham Caesars, who should present quite a bit more of a challenge. The last game against the Caesars, Titans took a little bit longer to get going, eventually became a comfortable game, but it wasn't that way early on. So they will, I assume, Titans will spend a very short period of time looking at this game film and making sure that they've got all their, T's crossed and their I's dotted before they take on Nottingham and then look towards the postseason.
60 points in the first half, 63 points in the first half, 20 more in the second half. It was a good day at the office for the Titans. Sam, anything before we say goodbye?
No, just thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all the Titans socials. If you are ever interested in joining the Manchester Titans, there are tons of opportunities, whether it's playing, coaching, whether it's contact football, flag football, mixed flag, mixed contact, women's football. There are tons of opportunities to get involved, and we're always looking to improve our game day product. So, just from me, thanks for joining us, and Taylor, really enjoyed it. Looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely. We'll see you next week. Thank you, Sam. I'm Taylor Umlin, back with more Titans football next week.